know an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Hello there.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We would be honored if you would join us.
He's got a billion toys.
You brought in the doll collection.
These are not dolls, Jim. These are commodities. Same as gold or oil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now listening to the Collecting Weekly podcast.
Joey, locking the artillery power.
This is the true form of Floor Gang right here. Very nice. YouTube.com/collectingweekly. Thank you very much. That's very cool. Big.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Ben.
I'm Sean.
I'm Fern.
And I'm Marco. You hate to see it.
Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. It's a weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
That's right. We want to thank our friends over at 1/6 Corner for sponsoring this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. Guys, don't forget to use code CW10, that's capital C, capital W10, during our live recording for 10% off all in-stock items. That's 16corner.com.
We have a great show planned for you guys tonight. We have a new Hot Toys to talk about in a standard and deluxe versions. We also have a ton of updates on several figures and quite a few discussions for this week. Before we get into it, Dean, we have a very special segment that all the best shows start with.
Oh, yeah. You ready?
Yes.
It's new this week.
Yeah. What did you get new this week? I finally got my Game Toys 1/6 scale Cloud Strife. And it's everything I ever wanted. So it's just incredible. I love it. It's in my hands right now, futzing with it. It's amazing. I don't know if it's worth $600 what it's selling for now, but it's definitely worth what I paid for it. So if you could find one around retail, I say go for it. But yeah, it's just the best thing I own. Like literally, like. I had to get rid of everything in my collection and keep one thing. It would be this, like, hands down.
Wow.
That's high praise, bro.
Now, when you purchased it, is it now sold out at that retailer, or is it still in stock?
Yeah, in fact, it's sold out. Like as I paid for it, it was gone. Like, I literally had the only one that was in stock. Because I think I messaged Useby, and I was like, dude, like, I think, like, it's not in stock. Like, I think I paid for it, and they're going to message me and say it's not in stock anymore. And he checked, and he was like, well, it's, when you bought it, it was in stock, and now it's not in stock. So I think you did actually get the last one. So, yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Love that figure. Such a great figure.
Marco, what'd you get?
Oh, this is me.
Just kidding. He got an Iron Man too, sorry.
Yeah. No, I got an Iron Man. This is Mark 85 Battle Damage exclusive from Sideshow. Like everybody, been waiting on this one forever. Had it already paid off. I had the payment plan going on it, so I had already paid off as of, I think, a few weeks ago. And yeah, they shipped it to me. This is actually the first figure that I've used Sideshow's double box thing on. I've never actually done that with any of their stuff yet. So it's awesome. I think back in the day it was like $20 extra or like some stupid amount extra to just throw it in another box. But I think it was like $5 extra or something. And just to have, I know shippers are shippers and all that stuff, but my OCD wanted this one to be pristine. So I got this one, and yeah, can't wait to open it up. I'll crack it open on a live unboxing one Monday here, and so happy to have it now.
Congratulations.
Congrats,
this one Is this the battle damage? Oh, it is. So is
Yeah.
this one the portrait? There was only the drama with the regular one, right? This one, everyone basically got the same portrait.
Yeah, this one is the same head sculpt, So yeah, this is just one version, nothing. No Tony Stank head sculpt or anything like that.
What's
So
funny
just
is the base
Stuart
is
Little.
the Tony Stank sculpt, though, right? It's like that base sculpt, but they just have way better paint apps. Am I incorrect in saying that?
No, I think it's more based on the revised head sculpt, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't have the Tony Stank head sculpt anymore. I did the trade in, so when I unbox it, I'll have to do a comparison with the two head sculpts. But I think this one was more based on the updated look, than battle damage and stuff like that. So yeah.
Gotcha. Logistically, it seems like such a nightmare. Like, what are they gonna do with a bunch of thousands, hundreds of Tony Stank portraits?
Why they had to have us send it in was just like to make it a pain in the ass. I think it's just to be more of a pain in the ass so less people do it. Like there's no reason for it.
It'd be sick, like at Secret Base. You know how they do like the pennies in the floor sometimes at restaurants? If you just had all those sculpts in the floor,
Jesus Christ.
that'd be dope.
It's garbage, bro. It's littering. Marco, you got one of the all-time grails of collectors this week. What'd you got?
Yeah, so I got the Mark 46. Really happy to add this one to the collection. I had the 47 before. That was my only Iron Man. I do have the 85 battle damage on the way, hopefully this week too. So beautiful. Like, okay, I do love the 47, all that silver. I know it's kind of a divisive paint scheme, but this is just so classic Iron Man. Love Civil War. Love the battle damage, components it comes with. The base, like that diorama base is incredible. The sculpts with the black eyes. So really, really happy I was able to add this one to the collection. And yeah, it's already a standout. So yeah, not much more to say about it, but it's just a banger.
Very nice. Yeah, side note, the 47 was my first diecast Iron Man back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you pay a crazy price, or were you able to grab it at retail?
No, I got that at retail, and then I was like, "Oh, this is good enough." And then I went back and bought all the other ones because it was not. I needed more. So yeah, that's yeah.
It's a gateway drug.
It's awesome.
Pretty much.
Do you mind if I ask how much you paid for this?
Yeah, so I got this one from Mario. He sold it to me a bit above retail, but really hooked me up on this. So I would say the design of the 46 and 47, the actual figure itself is a bit flawed. So I wouldn't go crazy and like spend a bunch of money on this, kind of like Dean was saying. But like for around that price, I think it retailed at $340. So I got it for just a bit above that. Really solid edition, considering how much, die-cast figures go for these days as well.
100%.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've had this figure twice. I'm curious, what design flaws are you think are there?
For me, it's the arms. Like they're just, and again, I don't have a many Iron Men, so I can't really speak to how the other ones, but it's like none of the poses, because of the way the shoulder pads kind of flex. A lot of things don't look super organic to me, so it's like I have a hard time finding like a really great looking pose. You could see right here what I have on the right. It's pretty limited there. It's not particularly great. So I would just say that like lifelike poses don't really come easily to the figures, in my opinion.
Gotcha. Checking in with the chat real quick. We got Toy Mafia, Tukatri, 123, Thor, 123 Gaming, Ben Thomas, Lane Kramer, Irwin, Scott Bradley, Equan, hashtag release the staff, John Ortiz, King Dingaling. Great intro, guys. Thanks for that. Pepe Pascal, Beskar Kid, Gigi says blondes aren't my type, but the fit is fire. Love to see Scott Bradley back in the chat. Congratulations, Marco. Ben, what'd you get?
Yeah, so I was excited because my DHL notification finally went off today, and Marty McFly had arrived in Calgary. I was getting a little worried just because I was supposed to get him on Wednesday last week, so I was kind of anxiously waiting over the long weekend. And I don't know if you guys have ever had that feeling where you keep like looking at the DHL notification and nothing has changed for the last 9 times you've checked it.
All the time, bro.
Yeah, that was me this weekend for sure. And then when I went to pick it up from the DHL location today, of course it starts pouring rain, right? So it's funny because Sean or Usby was saying there that, like he wanted a pristine shipper box. Well, I was in the same boat, so it's pouring rain, and I get my CertaPro work jacket and wrap the box, of course, in its own box to get it out to the car. I must have looked like a crazy person trying to get that thing out of the store. but I've got it now, and I'm pretty excited. I've barely unboxed it. I basically just took the plastic off the head just to look at the face sculpt, because that's been the one big thing that I really wanted to see in person. And yeah, I'm excited to have them. I could definitely unbox it probably after the show and actually like pose it up and have some fun. So I'm a little lukewarm on the face still. Just like I've always been. I almost didn't get this guy because of the face. And I haven't decided if having it in hand yet has changed my mind. So stay tuned for that, I guess.
Gotcha. We got David Jones. Good to see everybody. And Brendan Riley, scholars and gentlemen all around, stay classy. Bunch of angels in the chat tonight. Speaking of angels, Manny the Man Gonzalez picked up the Droids TVC Boba Fett for me.
Oh yeah.
San Antonio got hit with like 1 billion of these, and it sucks because it was the one weekend I was out of town, just absolutely terrible. I did go hunting in Corpus, went 0 for 1 there, but I kind of want to at least pick up one more. I think Mark Pearson, Sweet Patreoni, is looking for this. I want to try to snag one for him, and then I also kind of want to have one to open. I've been looking at the TVC Slave one, and I think it would be cool to kind of put next to that. But yeah, it's a cool little figure. Comes with a nice collector's coin, and supposedly they're still out in San Antonio, so hopefully I'll be able to find one here in the next few days for some of the Patreonies. It's also almost my birthday month, so I've been kind of like in a treat yourself mode, and it's kind of crazy how these things happen. So Thursday, I got a call from Steven, and he was telling me that they were doing inventory at the shop, and they had noticed an item that I had in pre-order that I basically paid off like almost all the way. They're like, you have one payment left. It's really not that much money. Like, are you still interested, or do you want us to put it back on the sales floor? And I had totally forgotten about it, and I was like, yeah, I'll take it. I'll come and pick it up next Thursday. And on a whim, I was just thinking, like, I know he's not going to have one, but I'm just curious, like, do you have a Razor Crest? And sure enough, he had gotten one traded in a few months ago. One thing led to another, and I started looking at my collection, because I don't have a lot of liquid funds right now. And I was thinking, like, there's things that I have that I enjoy, but they take up a lot of space display-wise. They also take up a lot of space storage-wise. And I ended up making a trade for my Prime 1 gut statue. And I'm happy with it. Like, I mean, this thing is much larger than I thought it would be, to be honest, but I'm completely happy with it. And, I think it's a great ship. I think it's a great collectible item. And, I definitely wish I had secured it at retail, but, that's the way of the world. I kind of underestimated how good it would come out. And, unfortunately with things like this, you got to pay the premium when you miss out. And, with that being said, I am glad I have it. I did film a short Joy of Hobbying video on how to add some lights to the interior. It's a very easy mod. It's non-destructive. It's completely reversible. And I'm hoping to release that soon if I think it's worth it. So stay tuned for that. And, we're also going to be doing a review with some of the people on Small Talk and some of the other people like Marco that also have the Razor Crest, and we're going to get together and chat about it. But yeah, I'm super stoked for this, and it's something I thought I'd never own, so I'm glad to actually have it in the collection. Moving on, let's get into the news. We have the Hot Toys Scarlet Witch from the Multiverse of Madness. This one is $285 for the standard, or for the deluxe rather, $230 for the standard. And this one's releasing July to December 2023. I have not seen this film, so there's a lot going on here that I have no clue what is going on. I've seen some people very excited that, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but that there's a different version of Doctor Strange teased here in some of these photos. People are very excited about that.
It's in the trailer.
Okay, so Zombie Strange is teased in some of these photos, so it's also, kind of creating a little bit of buzz there that we're going to potentially get one of those. As far as the figure goes, though, you get the interchangeable hairstyles. The eyes have the luminous reflective effect, which I think we've seen on a few different Hot Toys on their suits, and then I believe on the last Scarlet Witch, we've seen that as well. A great selection of hands, some really nice effect pieces. And if you spring the extra for the deluxe, you also get the candle diorama, the dreamwalking spell effect to go with it. So the prices seem great. To be honest, I'm reading these prices right now and I'm thinking, are these actual prices? Because I didn't check them. But if it's $285 for the deluxe, $230 for the standard, to me that seems like, you know, a good enough bang for the buck. Though if you're a collector and you're seeing this, I believe there's another Scarlet Witch that's still in pre-order. I have to wonder if there's going to be people that are canceling to switch to this version.
So Zach, really quick though, it's $330 for the deluxe and $285, I think, for the standard.
How dare you? Who put this in the show sheet? Fire them right now.
I think it was me, actually.
Bro, you
Idiot.
Motherfucker. I read that price and I was like, God damn, this is a good price.
I'm trying to manifest it into being the price.
Jesus
2015 prices there.
That's right.
Dude, literally, John, I was like, hey, no way, bro. That's why I kind of stuttered for a bit when I saw that.
Yeah, it was like
My bad.
$230. I was like, God, this is cheaper than Captain Rex.
All right, so for the record,
Howard's nervous. He's not that nervous.
$330 for the deluxe. I'm like, God damn, Queen is really making waves here.
That was good, John.
$330 for the deluxe, $285 for the standard. Marco, you are fired. Just kidding. What do you guys think about this? I mean, even at that price point, though, it's not great. Let me reemphasize. It's not great at $330, but I gotta say, I like the diorama effect there with the candles. I think it's a different. I appreciate when Hot Toys, like, you know, if you look at Alita, for example, the base that's there, it's like a reuse of, like, I think the Battling Cat version, right? So I appreciate when they give us new diorama bases, even though this is probably very specific just to Wanda. It's nice when they don't just go and give us another sand base or another Battling Cat base. Like
yeah, if I'm paying $330, I better get something fucking unique. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this is cool. First, it was not enough Wandas. Now we got pick of the litter with Wanda. So, like you said, there's another one on pre-order. Then this one, it's almost a little much. I feel like if you get any version of Wanda, you'll be happy. They don't seem like terrible figures. They also aren't, you know, to me, winning any awards for figure of the year or anything. But they're good, solid releases. So pick a Wanda, and I think I'll be happy. I think this one sticks out to me greater than the WandaVision version, or even better than the Civil War version. Like, again, both solid. So I guess underwhelming. Like I said, it's a good release, but I'm not excited about it. I'm also not disappointed. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. What about you guys?
I think they knocked it out of the park with the portrait. I think the portrait looks great. Base wise, I love the candle base. Not too sure how I feel about the circular base behind her. All that like plastic webbing. I don't know. Nice on Photoshop photos, but in person, I don't know if that's going to come off across.
Those plastic bits are the worst, John.
Agreed.
Not a huge fan of that. My concerns in regards to this. If you go to that photo, Zach, the one you're at where it was in hand. Yeah, the suit there where her elbows bend, that looks like it's going to be a recipe for disaster long term. And I can't comprehend how you're putting out, and I understand it's two different iterations, but how you're putting out another Wanda when you have one up for pre-order already. I don't know. For me, I find Hot Toys collectors want the best iteration of the character, most up to date of the character. So I know that that's from WandaVision, but people who are on a tight budget, I can really see them canceling that and moving on to this one. So strategic wise, I don't know if that's going to work in their favor or not, but I guess we'll see. The other thing that was a little iffy for me was the other not the head sculpt, but the hair piece. For me, this hair has like a weird shine to it. I don't know if it's their angle of the photos or the way they edited the photos, but not this one. This one looks good. But in some of the photos, the hair, like that there on the left, the hair just looks Is it just me? Does it look a little off? Not the
I thought it
sculpting
was,
of the hair,
I thought
but
it was rooted at first, John. Like
Yeah.
it does look very shiny.
Hot
But-
Toys has that problem, like with their Luke Skywalker. Sometimes they look like almost gold. Like you can almost see like the gold flake paint. So
Yeah.
I just think that that's them trying to, imitate like a actual haired look.
Yeah. And the price point, it's up there. It's still a little bit cheaper than the Strange, but it's up there. I don't know. It's a pass for me.
I mean, I like this a lot. I think just I think a lot of Marvel collectors complain that we don't get enough. Well, I don't know. This might be a little bit of a spoiler, so I won't say that. But I think it's a good figure. I think the head sculpt is executed flawlessly. I mean, I think from certain angles, it definitely looks like just a shrink ray of her. As for the latest and greatest, like you said, John, I think some collectors collect like that, but I think there's also a I don't know if a subset or how many people do it, but where they want kind of, every iteration kind of serves a purpose, or they want to collect all the Spider-Man outfits or whatever because they're doing that. But I think this one's kind of a little close to the WandaVision one. But I still think I'll be adding it to the collection just because I think the way she was in the movie, I thought it was badass, and the diorama pieces and all that stuff, you can pose her in a way that it would look different from the WandaVision one enough to sort of have both of them. They're definitely very similar, so I can understand why, some people will cancel one for the other, but, as a standalone figure, kind of in a vacuum, I think this figure is awesome. The price point's a little bit, tough to swallow. 300, an extra, $50 for the candle base and the, sort of dream walking effects is pretty out there. I would think that would be maybe 20 extra bucks or something like that, but it is what it is. So it would have been nice maybe for the deluxe to have, instead of a luminous effect on the eyes, have like a LED head sculpt that actually the eyes lit up red. I think that would be my choice to justify it, but yeah, I mean, I think it's executed well, and not for everyone, but for completionists like me, it's pretty great.
Yeah, like John said, the candle base is really cool, and the zombie one is also. But is it like an attachment, or what is it? The zombie one.
What zombie one?
I think that's teasing another figure for that doesn't come with
I thought
this.
it was like part. Oh, okay. I thought it was part of the base. Yeah, but I think what they should have done is maybe make this one sculpted. I mean, rooted hair, and the other one leave it sculpted to like make it kind of different. Because apart from the accessories, I don't know, like they pretty much look the same. But yeah, I mean, I like it.
Yeah, I mean the WandaVision one, she doesn't have sleeves. She just kind of has gloves and no kind of top sleeves or anything like that. She also has a cape, whereas this one doesn't have a cape. She just kind of has the, I don't know, skirt bottom or whatever you want to call that. So there's some differences in the costume, but I could definitely see where there's a lot of overlap as well.
Yeah, I also was gonna say what you were gonna say, but didn't say it because spoiler wise. But yeah, I agree with you with that.
So I guess I'll just hop in and piggyback off what Sean was saying in terms of the WandaVision version. That's probably my most anticipated figure this year. I know that's an odd choice, but like I really enjoyed that show. I really liked the character, and so that's one that I thought the prototype looked great. And they kind of released the iterations, the teases of updates to the sculpt, and so I'm really excited for that figure. I'm a bit irritated, like John was mentioning, that they've got this up, they've got that version up for pre-order, and they're putting this one. It's kind of cannibalizing their market in a way, which is frustrating. And you would think that they would have released that ahead of time. I just want it in my hands. That sounds odd, but I think that there's enough differences with that version and this version to maybe justify adding both at some point, because I like the character so much. So I think it's it's a 2 year from now problem really to have. So I guess I'll just see if when the time comes, if I still have space in the collection, or if I have the desire, because I love the WandaVision version that much, to add it. I'll just reiterate that, the price point now that we're creeping into those, 320, 330 range, that does make me uncomfortable for, a base or an extra sculpt, right, with the Strange. That being said, the figures both look great. So as long as the quality's improving, they're giving us additional pieces like we've asked for. Okay, that's one thing. But I guess I'd reiterate and just say, wait on Marvel, because I do think that they will tend to sit and you might get some deals as I've gotten, recently. So I will heavily consider this one, and it looks really phenomenal. And I love the diorama base, but yeah, just going to have to be a wait and see.
Hot Toys is almost... Oh, go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say, I love this figure. For me, this is a 100% buy, especially the deluxe version. Now, I loved this new movie that this figure is from. I think one of the challenges that Hot Toys probably faces is WandaVision specifically was a smash hit. I feel like it was, it wasn't for everybody. Not everybody loved the show, but I think it's still one of the most successful Disney television shows based on a Marvel character.
It was the first Marvel show, right, Ben?
Yeah, well, was it the first? I
think it was the first. Yeah,
order-wise, yeah, pretty. Yeah, if it was, and I mean, it was awesome. Like for me, it blew my socks off. I didn't really care much about Scarlet Witch leading up to Age of Ultron. I liked some of her story in Ultron, of course, and then going into WandaVision, I didn't really care. And by the end of the show, I loved it, and I felt like Hot Toys collectors, or collectors in general, were saying, like, we want a Wanda from WandaVision. Like, we want that in our collection. And if Hot Toys hadn't delivered that, there would have been a lot of frustrated folks. Then you kind of get to this film where this iteration of the Scarlet Witch, not to give any spoilers, she's not really Wanda. She's the Scarlet Witch. This is almost an entirely different character, even though she looks physically the same and acts in some similar ways. So I think for a lot of folks, like, you could easily justify having both in your collection. I do think the outfit's different enough. And I love that they're doing things like this candle diorama bit. Like, that blew me away. I'm always thinking of ways that I can display my figures when I get them. And I honestly think that, like, this sitting position on the shelf is going to look so eye-catching in comparison to so many. So this is a bravo Hot Toys for me. I am willing to pay the cost on this one. I actually think that this is justified. You see that it comes with the Darkhold. You see that it comes with even the blackened fingertips from her touching the book. Like, so many key details there that I think are really, really cool. The only thing that I really don't love is that magical effect that she's got behind her in that sitting pose. I'm hoping that you can still really pull this look off without that part, because I wouldn't display that in my collection. That would definitely stay in the box.
So Ben, by the time we're in Canada, so by the time this comes to us, we're looking at, after conversion, after custom
$400,
fees,
$420, easy. Add $100
more.
probably.
I think it's more. I don't know how it works in Calgary, but if it coming to me, I think we'd be touching closer to $450. Fine.
We have the slightly lower sales tax. I think that would be the only saving grace on my side. But you're right. It's
bananas.
It's definitely getting high, for sure. But I mean, I've paid, like, I've had my Mark 7 diecast. What was that, like $700 by the time it came? Like,
yeah, well, Mark 7 is
Mark 7's Mark 7.
For sure.
One of the most iconic suits of armor in all of cinema history.
Have you seen this movie yet, Dean?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's great, but I don't think in the test of time, when people are remembering important films in the next, decade or two, Mark 7 is gonna be on that list. I don't know about.
It's just a lot. It's a lot to drop when
you're right.
You have a Wanda on pre-order that hasn't released yet, and there's multiple.
Yeah, so let me touch on that. But first, I love Baby Boy 562. Shout out to Baby Girl. I love the name change. That's fucking hilarious. That, like, literally made me smile. But it's almost a catch-22 for Hot Toys, because, the shows and movies are coming so quickly with, like, on the Marvel side.
Yeah.
That their release schedule of like 1 to 2 years it's just impossible for them to keep up. So it's either you have these figures that are double stacked like this, or you run into that problem with like the Vulture problem, right? Where it's like you get a figure 4 years later that like no one cares about. So Maybe that's a discussion for another day, but it's
Yeah.
a weird situation. Like
I
with the
mean-
Mando situation, it's like by the time the Beskar 2 or the Beskar figure came out, by season 2 he had pretty much like added armor to that, and like it was like already inaccurate by the time it was released. It's just
But
the production schedules are so quick.
An important part to that is, though, and I was speaking to Brenton about this, and he brought up a good point. When I look at this figure, it may not be worth it for me, but someone who's passionate about the character may say, "Hey, it's worth it." Right? That's the true value. The true value is behind there. But I just think that, like, for example, I loved the Mando Deluxe that came out, the original one. By the time that came to me, I was paying close to 500.
Yeah.
Look at what happened. They turned around and did the Beskar Mando. You get that thing for $230 now.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the Beskar Mando, they basically took for the original deluxe, they took some shit that should have been in the
100%.
Durasteel Mando and put it in a box, right? That's shitty. Really shitty is, hey, we're taking the deluxe Mando and making it even better, like we should have done to begin with. That's all very, very shitty. This, it's a completely different figure. It's a completely different look, accessories from a different, movie. It's a little annoying to double stack. Oh, sorry, that's my bad. But I will say this: more options is usually better. Now, it's up to the collector, like John said. It's up to you. Like, how important is this to you? So, having more options of which one do you want, I think is great. Maybe WandaVision spoke to you a little more than this movie, or maybe this is your favorite Marvel movie ever. I don't know. But I think it's a really cool thing to be able to have all these options. Because like I said, they're completely unique. The Mando situation, that's the same fucking suit, just way better. It's like, you could have done this immediately. They could not have done this for WandaVision because we didn't see all this stuff in that show. It's a completely different character, like Ben said. Wanda has been Wanda from day one. She's never been Scarlet Witch until this movie. She never goes by Scarlet Witch until this movie. They kind of allude to it in WandaVision. He's like, does she have any aliases? He's like, no, she's just Wanda. And then now in this movie, it's like, no, I'm the fucking Scarlet Witch. So I think it's great that we have all these options, and it's up to the collector to really decide. Because Hot Toys is just like, hey, pick of the litter. Which one do you want? It's up to you. I think that's great.
To follow up quickly as well, like I wasn't comparing figure or even like movie, like with the Iron Man with the Mark 7 one. All I was saying is kind of what you were saying there, Dean. In terms of value, I've spent what feels like astronomical amounts of money on some pretty cool figures because those figures specifically meant something to me. And so I'd be willing to pay this price because this had an effect. I loved Sam Raimi, like at his vision of this film. I always loved the Evil Dead films. This feels like a bit of a pull from that.
That is fair.
And I got to see this with my mom, who I only get to see once or twice a year, and it was just a great family experience. Like overall, I just had a great time with this film.
Hey, that's awesome though. Like that, you're gonna have that representation in the collection. 100%. You're gonna think of that memory. That's beautiful, Ben.
Exactly, and that's what you were saying, Dean, right? Like it depends on how, and John, like it depends on how it really connects to you. And if it has the value, then the price tag doesn't matter. You're gonna look at it every time in your collection and be like, that's sweet.
So. And I do want to say, I like what Dean was saying about having options. That's really cool. And also what Zach was saying about this is kind of the new reality because there's so much content. We are going to have, multiples of figures being on pre-order. It's just going to happen. So I can't be too upset. I just wish that they had released the WandaVision already because I'm so eagerly anticipating it. That being said, we always knew she was going to show up in Doctor Strange, right? Like that was, communicated to us from the beginning. So I chose to move forward. Like I'm already going to pre-order the WandaVision version. I've learned my lesson on pre-ordering Marvel since, but back then I was like, I'm all in. So you can't really be upset that they're giving us this new version, and it's awesome to choose or add both if you want.
I was just looking at Sideshow, like comparing the WandaVision version and they are like really different actually. Even the face sculpts, like the expression is like different. Like Dean said, that one's like more Wanda, and this is like Scarlet Witch. So,
But it comes down to the fact that if you have to choose one or the other, let's just say you got a cheaper budget, a budget to work with. You don't have enough for both representations. You have room for one representation.
Right.
Which one are you going with? Are you going with the WandaVision version, or are you going with this one?
Yeah, but isn't that cool? You have that option.
well, this movie sucks, so I would go with WandaVision.
Wow, that's a hot take.
That's dude. Fern's well documented with that fucking hot take.
I don't think. I think it's cool to have options, but I don't think it should be like you put out a figure for pre-order a year ago, and it's still up for pre-order, and now you're putting up another rendition of the character.
Yeah, that's tough. It's almost like they should plan it better, prioritize pushing Wanda out first, because they know this is coming.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong, John. But I would say that you haven't seen this movie, right?
I've seen enough of it to say that it's it needs a little love.
Well, I mean, I think it's like I think it was Ben said, it's a different person, it's a different figure. So I think it comes down to what, if you were to choose which one you want, which one, it depends on what, if WandaVision spoke to you more, or if her or the Scarlet Witch spoke to you more. So kind of pick and choose which one you like more and kind of go with that one. And it's great that we have that choice. Also comes down to Multiverse of Madness is supposed to be a sort of a turning point, or the next big thing in Marvel. So how this ends up in 5 years, or by the time this figure comes out, even 2 years, with everything that's coming out, I mean, she could be a huge integral part. This whole movie could have been a huge integral part to everything that's going on. So it might come down to that too when it happens, what representation you want more. So yeah,
that's true. It doesn't help you decide to pre-order any sooner, though. That's the thing for me. Like even like 100%. You're saying, in 2 or 3 years, like however long it takes to come out. What if there's even another movie with her in it with another costume by the time we will, right? And so, like, putting these out from Hot Toys definitely doesn't make me want to pre-order. If anything, it's like, well, I guess I'm gonna see this figure in my collection in 3 years. That's cool. Like, I'm excited for that, and just will continue to save my money in my own bank account otherwise, right?
Yeah, and it also goes back. How many times have we said don't pre-order? Like,
100%.
Well, our next.
It's a great segue there.
Yeah.
Hot Toys. It almost seems like it's a meme at this point, but
No doubt.
and we said it when that first third-party company and then Toys R Us announced a Vulture, that it was I think I said something like within 5 months we'll see Hot Toys' pre-order go up. And we've seen that first big step towards that with the tease of their Vulture. Again, a tease does not necessarily mean a figure is coming. Months ago, everyone got riled up because they showed a Batmobile. We've yet to see that go up for pre-order. There's plenty of times they've shown figures like Shazam or Poe that never make it to pre-order. But to me, it almost seems, I don't want to say a deterrent, but it's like Hot Toys just kind of flexing just enough to get people scared. And in fact, 1/6Kit and a few other third-party retailers started offering free cancellations where you could get your NRD back if you just pre-ordered last week the different Vultures that were out there, so that you could maybe pre-order this. So I thought that was pretty decent customer service, because I think the deposits were something like $30-$40. So this is kind of super late by Hot Toys, and to me it only seems like it's been motivated by the third party announcements. So I'm not particularly interested in this, especially with Toys R Us making some very critical updates to their figure, which we'll talk about in a second. Is anyone going to get this over the third party ones, or like who here on the panel is even interested in having a Vulture in their collection?
Bro, if Wanda is $330, shipping and tax over $4, I could just imagine how much this fucking thing is gonna be. Ain't no fucking way. Yeah, at those prices, even with the Wanda at $330 or even base $285, for me personally, that character's gotta be fucking important. To me, like an Iron Man, I would pay that. I've paid more than that for an Iron Man.
I heard some people saying 440, and I was like, hell no.
Ain't
No,
no fucking
there's no
way.
fucking way. This is
Without a
Bro,
without a
840
portrait,
gets you one wing.
Without
Yeah.
a portrait.
Yeah, so it's. I wouldn't even consider this. I don't even want. I think the third party ones are too expensive. Like Vulture is just not that important. Not only to me, but like the MCU. I think he's a fucking small fish in the pond.
Bro, he was in
know what I mean?
Morbius. Come on, what are you talking about?
Spoilers.
It's Morbin time. Yeah, it's just the prices are too crazy for someone to. They need to be fucking like important. That's my point. To me personally, that's the way my collection is going now that these prices are getting crazy.
I think this is going to hit between 5 and 575, 585. I don't think we'll get a portrait. I'll be surprised if we get a portrait.
You think 5?
I think more.
I'm thinking.
What was the gantry? What was the gantry?
I can't see this being more. I don't think they're going to use diecast. They use some diecast in the gantry. I don't think they'll use diecast here. I can't see this being more than a tumbler.
I can, 100%. To me, this is like a $700 figure. For
So
me from
regardless, where I get
that's what I was
frustrated, so a couple things, and I should have mentioned them maybe on the last figure, but number one, this is a prime example as to why you don't order third party. I can understand if you want to go the cheaper route, but if Hot Toys is putting out a teaser, just don't order third party. Of course, there's a little hiccups to that because you got stuff like the cockpit Jedi Starfighter that Howard's come out and said he's not touching. So, but he's come out and said, "Hey, we're not doing this." You saw it with the Goblin. You saw it with Doc Ock. Are you really surprised? You think Hot Toys paying for the license is going to let the third-party companies make the money? That's number one. Number two, and when I started streaming, I don't want to say I stopped listening to other streams. It's not necessarily I stopped. It's just like I kind of want to formulate my own opinion and don't want to. I don't know. But the other day I was watching some Hot Toys streams, and I do Hot Toys. I do statues. I'm a little bit of it. But now I understand why so many people do not have the same point of view that I have. It's brainwash. The stuff that I watched and was listening to was, and I'm not going to use names, was utter brainwash. It's nuts. And I don't want to bring the Gandalf into it because I'm so sick of talking about that damn Gandalf figure. But you have guys to this day still shitting on that Gandalf figure. And specifically just for one reason. We know the staff talk, but specifically because of the price. And they're like, oh, 500 shipped to your door. That's too much. I can't pay that. That's too much. But on the other end, they praise a Wanda figure that's $330, okay, at that quality. And they praise this. They say that this is a day one pre-order. And you're going to be paying $500 to $700 to that for this. What Zach's thinking more than 500. I think 5. I can't see this being more than the tumbler. Maybe it is. We'll see how they innovate this if it comes out. I think it's going to come out without a doubt. I think it's coming.
Here's my reasoning. So
I just wanted to say one quick thing into that.
Yeah,
please. It's Hot Toys, like the ass kissers. It's nuts. I hear people saying, "Oh, Hot Toys! It's a new Hot Toys now. It's a new." You ask yourself if competition in the last 10 years, the problem is you get a lot of new collectors, so they fall for this shit. In the last 10 years, look at the history. What innovation has Hot Toys brought to this collecting community? What, a USB plug-in that they use for 1-2 figures? What innovation have they brought in?
I mean, you could almost.
I think up until this year, like the best portraits that 1/6 scale companies could make.
Sculpting
some of the best cut and
but
sew.
I'm saying, what innovation to a release? What innovation to their bodies that they use? Sand bases? How many Mandalorian bases did we get for figures that don't even need sand bases?
Okay, but compare a 10-year-old Hot Toys to a 10-year-old Sideshow. there's a lot of innovation between the two.
Yeah, I agree.
But you could also say, John, you're not completely wrong. In 10 years, maybe they haven't done much, but I would say in 10 years they have been raising the bar on standards for a long time, which is great because now other companies are coming out and like, hey, we could do better. But you could also say the same thing about all those companies. Well, what innovation have they done?
But I'm not comparing necessarily to Sideshow. I'm comparing Hot Toys to Hot Toys. The price jump that we have been getting. Has there been enough innovation?
Oh, absolutely
but that may not be entirely up to Hot Toys, though. I mean, there's a lot of factors which, I'll talk about right now. Euler says if Yoast was able to do it for $600, that was $600 when it went up for pre-order like 2 or 3 years ago. And Yoast has said many times on his Facebook group that price was absolutely way too cheap for the amount of work and pieces and research and development that had to go into that figure. So if Hot Toys is starting from the ground up making a figure like this, if it's truly 1/6 scale where it's like that 4-foot wingspan, I think it will have to have diecast to support the weight and to make it structurally sound, which is a big problem that Yoast had going into it, was making it, not basically just fall apart. I personally can't see this in today's dollars and cents, where figures are going for almost twice as much as they were 4 years ago. I can't see this being any less than $600.
And this is my point. Trexler's comment here. No one's
because
talking.
the thing with the Tumbler is they had everything. Like, it was just a straight, bust out the molds, make more tumblers. This is complete, brand new everything, and that's where I think the cost is going to come in. To read that comment, Trexler says magnets aren't innovation.
It's not the point of magnets magnets aren't innovation, but the forearm attachment where you get they did with the Joker is innovation. The magnetic bases is innovation. The rooted hair they're where they're executing. And again, this is just production. That's innovation. At the end of the day, it's not a Hot Toys Queen battle here. Like I feel like it is, but at the same time, I'm just saying because I still love fucking Hot Toys. I still collect Hot Toys. I haven't sold a Hot Toy. I'd still buy a Hot Toy. I'd never pre-order at this point unless there was an exclusive to it, a time window or something. The point here is not the fight against Hot Toys. The point here is it's the people that are talking about this, and it sounds like brainwash. It sounds like brainwash. I feel like we're here to educate collectors, and shit on be honest to each other and shit where shit needs to be said and this and that. But to just come out and make the comments that I'm reading, utter ridiculous.
John, are you saying that they're overhyping Hot Toys, or they're way too high on Hot Toys compared to other companies that are out there?
I say there's a lot of hypocritical comments. It's a lot of hypocritical comments. It's praising Hot Toys. I've heard Hot Toys, it's a new Hot Toys. This is it. What are you talking about? You think he gives a rat's hat? We're going to talk about it a little bit more with the next release. We're with I don't know if it's next or whatnot, but we'll get into it a little bit more. It's not no new Hot Toys. This is Hot Toys with a flame under their ass, and now they got to come out and justify pricing at $330. Figures are coming out at $330 in the States. How about for the people across the borders? It's getting to be ridiculous in my opinion, but.
I mean, it's just the way the world is, though. I mean, it's twice as much to fill up my gas tank than it was last year.
And that's fine.
That shit trickles down.
That's fine.
One thing I would say as a correction, though, I don't think Queen is innovating in their magnetic bases at all. We saw Molecule 8 do it in 2017 with their John Lennon. So I wouldn't give them the credit for that innovation.
But I'm not giving them credit. I'm telling you that, Hot Toy...
I guess what I'm saying is I've yet to really see... obviously the outstanding artistry on Queen, but nothing that they've done to me personally is incredibly innovative. We've seen other companies do it as well.
Die-cast accessories alone. Accessories.
Asmus has been doing that for 10 years.
And it's not just
accessories.
It's not just, like I said, it's not just Queen. I'm not just talking about Queen. I'm talking about in general. I think, I don't know. I'm not the kind of guy that I'm going to go say, yeah, Hot Toys is killing it, because they really aren't. They really aren't, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Manny brought up this point, when we first saw the Vulture from Jazz Inc., that's a real leather jacket. Mm-hmm. You think you're going to get real leather from Hot Toys? No.
Exactly.
That would be innovative. That would be a really cool feature to see on a character whose fucking main thing is a leather jacket. Like, that would be one of the most important things I think you could do is start,
Innovative,
innovating on.
and this is what I mean. It's these comments. Innovated before that's fine. Okay, Beskar Kid, that's fine. But even in Hot Toys production photos, they're not being innovative. They're not being innovative. Hot Toys is just pumping pre-orders. That's all it is. It's pumping pre-orders.
I'm not a Hot Toys fanboy by any stretch of the imagination, but they've done some really different stuff the past few years. The illuminative effect, like we've seen on Scarlet Witch, with the neon tech suits, and with the frankly fantastic Black Panther. The execution on that is like nearly flawless with those. It's like a UV effect. I'm not saying that every Hot Toy isn't completely innovative, and I mean, you and I both know I'm the first one to call any company out for any fucking stupid shit that they do. But Hot Toys, I mean, there's a reason why if you see a 6-scale figure, most collectors will just call them, a Hot Toy. It's synonymous with 1/6-scale because at the moment they are the best company.
Well, they were the only company.
They're the standard. No, there's plenty of companies making 1/6-scale.
Licensed?
They're the best at Sideshow, Asmus. Plenty of companies out there.
Exactly. Okay.
There's not just
Star
one
Ace.
company, John. There's plenty of companies.
There's plenty of companies. Asmus is doing Lord of the Rings. Sideshow puts out how many figures a year? Hot Toys is the one pumping out the pre-orders, and you get to see them
Okay,
online.
but to say that there's no other companies putting out 1/6.
Well, okay, maybe they're okay. Well, if you're taking my words literally, then maybe there's not no other companies, but Hot Toys is.
I mean, Hot Toys at the moment is the best, though. Until Queen releases something and we see other
Sure.
ones, at the moment, I think Hot
Well,
Toys
they're
is-
still the only one. Sure. Okay. Well, not the only one, but let's say they're the only one. They're still the only one producing at that level. I wouldn't say you can compare an Asmus or a Sideshow to a Hot Toys release.
But John, I do agree with you though. With higher prices, I get that's the way of the world right now. But with higher prices come higher expectations. I know that's specific to me. It's like, okay, well, if you want $320 or $330 for a figure, like it better be an absolute banger. There's other options now. More companies entering the market already, and more in the future that are vying for my dollars. So if things are going to keep going up, we're going to have to start seeing innovation. We're going to have to start seeing quality and just things continue to escalate to go along with that price point. So that's what's refreshing about this channel is we're always keeping it real. You guys are always keeping it real. And the rest of the panel, we'll just tell you how we feel, right? That's what I love about this channel.
To tag on to that, Marco, too, like I love that these other companies are at least forcing some competition out of Hot Toys, because I do think that, yeah, maybe we haven't seen a ton of innovation for the last decade.
Bingo.
But now that these other companies are getting closer and closer and closer to Hot Toys, if they're going to start releasing images like this, and they actually intend to release it, they better make it really fucking awesome, because for sure we're going to still compare this directly to the Jazz Inc. or some of these other third-party options that are out there, and Hot Toys doesn't want to be the loser on that. So if they have to pump a higher price, like Marco's saying, the quality better freaking be there, or else that is immediately going to force people to start looking at other companies, just like we're starting to with Queen coming out with their own options.
Sorry, Ben. Go ahead. No, sorry.
No, that's pretty much all I had.
I would say you hit the nail on the head. It's the competition forcing their hand. That's where I'm like, well, where's the respect for the collector? So if these other companies didn't come with a competition, would they be doing what they're doing? I've been collecting Hot Toys since 2008. Actually, we'll save it for the next one because that'll spoil the next. Spoil the next release. So I'll keep it for that.
But that's where I would say the portrait is important, though, John. It's just that. It's 10 years ago when I started collecting Hot Toys, the portraits weren't nearly the quality that they are now. So, that is still progression forward, whether or not you like it or not.
You're right. That wasn't the example that I was going to give. Nothing in regards comparing to what 10 years ago. It's comparing more business practices. But I just don't want to spoil it because we're going to move into the figure. So I'll mention it.
Sorry, go ahead, Marco.
No, I'll let Sean go. I think he was going to say something.
So I have the Jazz Inc. Vulture. And I was thinking about maybe getting the Toys R Us one because it's relatively cheap and all this stuff. So I don't know what I'm going to do right now. I don't have anything pre-ordered. I'm just going to kind of stay with the Jazz Inc. one. I will say though, I think to say that people who like, who are Hot Toys fanboys are brainwashed, I think is a bit too far in that. I think it's more of a brand recognition, you know, like Zach was saying, like we don't say I need a cotton swab for my ear. We say we need a Q-tip, or, you know, we don't say give me a tissue. They say give me a Kleenex or something like that. I think 9 times out of 10, you know, if you have two companies who are, you know, competing, say Toys R Us, I mean, maybe Toys R Us is a bad example because Toys R Us has really stepped up their game, but whoever the other one is that's making the other vulture to this one, 9 times out of 10, your money is quote unquote safer. It's going to cost you more, but it's, you know, it's a better bet that the quality is going to meet a certain expectation, you know, level with Hot Toys, just because they've been around for a while. They've done it, you know, for a bunch of different figures and all that stuff. So I think people who, you know, are maybe putting their money with it or praising it or whatever are, you know, doing it for that reason more so than being sort of Hot Toys fanboys. And there's probably some of that too, but, you know, it's not the only reason. But yeah, I mean, I think competition's good. You know, I think it's definitely forced Hot Toys to release this. I don't think they ever would have if they didn't get bombarded with 3 other figures coming out for this. So, yeah, we'll see how it executed. I'm happy for people that can get it, like I said, you know, and yeah, keep on. Innovation is good, but I think most people buy. I don't want to say most people. I can't speak for generalities. For myself, the reason why I buy these figures and continue to buy these figures is the quality of the head sculpt and my relationship with the character and kind of how quote unquote cool the figure is. Innovation is cool, but it's always a secondary, you know, something or you know, a nice tack on versus the only reason why I'm buying something. That's it.
Let's blow through this quickly. Toys Era released a statement. Shout out to Toy Mafia. This is what he was referencing last week. We couldn't find it while we were live, but we have it here this week. Dear collectors, Toys Era has heard your comments about the wing size of PE11. We'd like to improve our product to perfection in return of your support. After careful consideration, we have decided to adjust the wing scale, increase wingspan from 97 centimeters to 103, as well as increase the brightness of ambient lights and the articulation angle. We wish these adjustments satisfy your expectation. We look forward to sending you this masterpiece in the near future. So there's some people that are a little disappointed by this. I think they like the smaller scale of the initial offering, but in the way of the world, you're not able to please everyone. Now, Hot Toys did put up a post where they showed off some new product updates on the Batman. I think this is the third post we've seen related to these updates. So they're giving us additional interchangeable hairstyles. They're also updating the hairstyles, which is great to see. The Bruce Wayne portrait features the separate eye rolling system, which is the new version of PERS. I don't recall if the initial sculpt had that, but they've made sure to feature that. And this is, in my opinion, one of the better ones. They updated the body physique and the batsuit colors. The initial photos, it looked very black, but all the other marketing and stuff for the film, the suit is really like a dark charcoal gray. So it looks like they fixed that color issue, which, you know, again, people are either going to love it or hate it. They also made the Batwing, or the Batarang rather, detachable, and it looks like it may have a point of articulation like we see in the film. So that's 3 big updates there. And I think this goes back to the Queen Studio pressure. I think they're wanting to communicate this a bit more. They're wanting to put out the best product that they can make currently, and I think these are definitely some much needed improvements that I think make this figure much better. Especially if you look here on the right, this was the initial portrait with the hair sculpt that they gave us, and I think universally we all agreed that the hair was really subpar, you know, for a regular Hot Toys, let alone one as significant as this. And I mean, I think this looks good. I've seen quite a few people that were on the fence decide to pre-order. The price has stayed the same, so they're kind of making these changes out of their own pocket, so to speak. But I think this looks fantastic. I'm not ready to pre-order just yet, but you know, I definitely think they've shown some great attention to detail here, especially with that body physique and the batsuit colors. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think those are all really great upgrades. I think they've made this a much better product. Sometimes people like overcompensate, and it's like, you may have made this worse. This one, pretty solid. I want to say, Zach, you were right. It didn't have the eye rolling feature before. 2 hair sculpts that look way better than the initial one. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the removable batarang. I feel like that's gonna get really fucking annoying unless it's a really solid, like, I don't even know. It can't peg in because then you can't use the batarang. It's gonna have pegs on it. So
it's probably a magnet.
You would hope.
You probably have a tool that you just like, you know.
Yeah. I feel like that would just be super annoying, but I guess we'll see. I just have a feeling I'm gonna be posing my Batman around, and that thing's gonna keep fucking falling out. But
Batman orang?
yeah, yeah. But the upgraded colors, very cool. Yeah, I think the pressure's on, and they gotta fucking put out bangers. So I think you'll love to see it. I could be wrong, but you guys.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This looks fantastic. The 2-way line of communication, perfect. Although it's nice to hear maybe a press release or something. Maybe that's too much to ask. It's a start. But great updates here. Fantastic. The figure looks great. I'm not pre-ordering. I'm going to hold off. I want to see what the market brings with this, whether I'm going to go the statue route even. I may go that route or just see what other companies bring. The point I want to bring with this figure is why now? Okay? Yeah, it's innovative. They're making their changes. But in 10 years of collecting, now they're doing this. Now they're making improvements so close to the release of a figure. We've bitched tons of figures with absolutely no communication whatsoever. Not a word, not an email, not a news announcement. You saw what they did with Mark 85. The head sculpt slapped collectors in the face. Poor announcements. Poor resolution process. Now they're shitting their pants. And now they're executing to perfection. Of course, because of the competition. My concern was, where was the loyalty to the customer before the competition came? That's what you guys need to keep your eyes open to. I understand there's a lot of collectors who just started collecting this year with COVID and stuff. But there's also a lot of old collectors that invested old money into the company and helped get that company to where it is today. All right, so just keep that in mind when you're praising Hot Toys. Great move. They could have sat back and not done anything, but you got to look at the big picture as well.
But you say that, John, but you've also put years worth of money into the company, so yeah. I mean, apparently it wasn't a big deal then. You put a lot of money in it. And I would also say this is still, I know you mentioned it's right close to the release date. This is still a year plus away. So there's still plenty of time.
No, I didn't say it was close to the release date. Close to the release date of the pre-order.
Okay, so there's right? that. And Beskar Kid makes a great point as well. They've done it before and not announced it with Kylo and Rey. Both of those portraits were upgraded due to fan feedback.
I feel like every comment I say, you just headbutt back. But my point here is,
well, that's the point. It's a panel.
Well, not necessarily. I find here that the communication process here was lacking, and now it's tweaked. But we've been asking for it to be tweaked for years. We've been asking for it to be tweaked.
How would you want it to be better, though, John? I guess, I think my only feedback for that point is just, it seems like they almost can't win, right? If they don't do it, then they're not helping us collectors or new collectors have better, improved figures, maybe based on more information that they're receiving. Or they're not listening to your feedback from you saying for 10 years, hey, I want more communication. Hey, if you notice that there's a change in an outfit that you're wrong on, please fix it, right? Mm-hmm. If that's what you've been asking for all this time and now they're actually doing it, maybe they've had a change of management. Maybe there's a different PR person. I'm just saying, maybe there's been a change. And
there has been no change. Yeah, there's been a change.
Now that they're doing it, you're not happy that.
No, I didn't say I wasn't happy.
Because it doesn't respect the money you've already spent.
No, I praised the release. If you rewatch it afterwards, I praised the release.
I always do.
What a supporter. I praised the release. It's the it's what I say is in the community. It's Hot Toys can go without fault, and like I said, major Hot Toys collector, I always have been, still am. It's just the things that I'm hearing in the community are hypocritical, and people aren't looking at both sides of the story. That's all. I'm not even comparing
How
Queen.
could it have been better, though? How could it have
what
been
been
better? I
better?
guess this
How could what been
communication or this change, like how would it have sat right with you better?
This Batman release?
Yeah, what would have made this?
I'm
sit
just
better with you?
stating. I'm just stating the fact that it's nice they're doing this now. That's fantastic. They're making the right steps.
Yeah.
But I want us to also not be fooled as to say, well, where's my business valued last year? Was my business valued when I purchased the Mark 85 and didn't hear anything about the replacement process? So now Hot Toys wants to kiss our ass because they need our money and our business because there's competition in the Shark Tank. But where was the respect for the customer a year ago, 2 years ago? I don't have to go back 10, buddy. I could go back 6 months.
That's a sideshow thing, though.
He's
I've
also
always
not
told
wrong.
every person to reach
No,
out to their
Zach,
local
it's not a
distributors.
sideshow thing, Zach. Hot Toys made
Hot
the
Toys isn't
listen,
going to
listen.
send you the product. They have official.
That's fine.
distributors.
But Hot Toys, with the customer service that they're showing us now, where within a few weeks they're already updating portraits, Hot Toys should take the ownership because they're creating the product to say, hey, we fucked up. Pardon my French. We fucked up. Here's how we're going to make it right. Whether it's through Sideshow, whether it's through whoever. This isn't a reseller. This is Sideshow, a distributor. If it was a reseller, we're talking different game here. This is a Sideshow distributor. They should be partnering up. So it should be Hot Toys and Sideshow working together for a resolution. You're not going to get that shit anymore. Hot Toys is going to be on their game going forward. But I want you as a collector that's looking at collectibles at a certain values as to where to put your money and how companies are treating collectors. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to look at both sides.
And
That's
John,
all.
I totally hear that. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, but that's what we do on this panel. We are not. If you listen to some panels, you will hear nothing but Hot Toys.
Well, it's the same thing. I'm the only one that shits on Hot
apologies.
Toys on this panel.
What are you talking about, John?
Man, I
What are
always
you
shit on
talking
things.
about, bro?
What?
Shit on 'em all the
That's the
time.
most
Yeah, I
craziest
don't
thing
know
you've said
about
today,
that.
my guy.
Okay.
That's the craziest thing you've ever said.
Okay.
We look at on this panel. We always look at both sides of the coin. I think lifetime I'm more negative than positive on Hot Toys. In fact, we get comments all the time that we're the most negative podcast out here. So
Yeah.
and even with Queen, I mean, I was negative on a lot of things on the Gandalf. I was positive when we were presented with more information. I think the great thing about CW is that we're not afraid to, be vocal about this. When this first was announced, like I said, universally, I think every single person on the panel that day did not like the portrait. We complained, other collectors complained, and it was changed. I don't know what small part we played in that, but I mean, we were vocal
Yeah, I
about
think-
it, and within like, I want to say 10 days, they had already showed us the render of the improvement. And
But
then they've
why did they do
continued
that?
to-
Zach?
Because everyone
John, you're a-
complained.
John, you're
come on,
100% right.
'Cause
No,
they're
I
getting
think
pushed. They got
John.
competition.
I think exactly. I think John is 100% right. It's like, why now?
It's because of
Because-
Queen. Yes,
Oh,
we've all said
100%.
that. We've been saying
Yeah.
that
But you
for
didn't
months.
say that. No, you didn't just say that. You just said it's because you didn't just say that. Dean was
I've
saying
literally
that.
been saying every time you go back and listen, every single time we get an update like this from Hot Toys, literally the first thing I say, go back and listen. I promise you'll find this out. I say it's probably because of the pressure that Queen is putting on Hot Toys that we're now getting more stuff. I've said it when Asmus is updating things constantly now, because Asmus is another company that's very difficult to reach, very few updates, subpar releases on occasion. I've always said that ever since that first silhouette of Gandalf was teased, that Asmus was, got their shit rocked, and they've been much more vocal, much more transparent in the process. I've said that for months. There's no way you could take that.
Dean, what were you going to say?
I think John makes a good point. You brought up the, I think it was Ben brought up the Rey and Kylo. Why couldn't you have done that 2 years ago when those figures were coming out? Why couldn't you say, hey guys, we're updating it, we're making it better? Because they didn't need to worry. They knew, oh, they're going to fucking buy it. Now, with
And
Queen
well,
out there,
they still
they're
don't
like,
really need to worry though,
"Fuck,
right,
we-"
Dean? Dean, they
I mean-
got the exclusive license pretty much for Star Wars. I get sideshows, maybe their competition, but this one they got a direct 1-to-1 with InArt, and we know J&D is probably entering the fray with the 1.6. So we know they got 1-to-1 competition on this bad boy.
I love you, Marco,
Yeah.
bringing up J&D. J&D hasn't even. J&D's sitting back, being like, "Look at these fools."
Yeah, but I think John made a good point. It's like now that they need our money instead of expect it. Now we're gonna start seeing this shit more often.
Can I? Oh, go ahead, Dean. Sorry.
I just want to say John is not wrong 100%. I think maybe a little bit too impassioned, but that's never a bad thing, right?
I don't think I'm wrong at all. It's an opinion. That's
Yeah.
No, I think John's completely right on this. Oh, go ahead,
Yeah.
Dean. Sorry, I keep cutting you off, bro.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say I don't go on.
So I will say though, so John, we had a pretty heated debate about communication with collectors, and I will say I'll commend Hot Toys here. This is exactly what I want to hear from companies. When you've got good news to share with me, you got freaking crystal clear images, the messaging is on point. I know exactly what they're giving me. It looks fucking phenomenal. This is what I want to hear from you. So that's all I'll have to say. Like, this is the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, this is going to be a standard thing going forward, or at least it should be. Keep me updated. I mean, with Queen, I know we keep bringing up Queen, but it's almost like day to day with them. Hey guys, we're doing this. Hey, we're doing this. Even if it's a private message that we've gotten, or a comment in a post, or an actual post on their page, they're being very forthcoming with what they're doing and what they're up to. So I think it's going to force Hot Toys to do this more often, and that's not a bad thing.
And again, I just want to reiterate, it's not necessarily about Queen. It's about the business practices of Hot Toys. We keep seeing Queen. We haven't seen Queen.
Right.
It's not necessarily just about Queen. It's the business practices we're talking about. Don't forget that. Because if you didn't see Queen come out, and we can't go into a DeLorean or into anything to see the future. If Queen or J&D didn't make announcements about coming into the... We don't know if we would have seen this upgrade on this Batman. So hold your horses when you start talking about you haven't seen it in hand. I'm talking about business practices here.
Yeah. I think John makes a good point when he talks about respecting the collector, because it's our money, guys. And they want it, you got it. So are they respecting you as somebody who has the money that they want? Maybe John has a point about 2 years ago, maybe they didn't, but they're sure going to fucking show it to you now. So again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's good,
But we say all the time that we vote with our wallets, right? And I feel like, not to be the person that's pushing back so much on this today, but like every business is like that to a point, are they not? If their money is on the line, they're going to do more or try to do more to try and retain or grow their business because they're about to lose that business. Hot Toys that's not unique to Hot Toys. Any of the businesses that we've talked about would be in the same boat. If they were starting to lose those collector dollars, they'd give us something extra to try and entice us to come back. That's why other companies give coupons, or you get an extra Big Mac every time you go to McDonald's for 3 months or whatever, right? And I'm curious if you feel this passionate about those companies or not. But the thing this comes down to is that, like, collectors, as much as I feel like I need all these in my collection, don't get me wrong, they're not life necessities. We do choose to purchase these really high-priced items, and you've said it to me a million times, John, I'm sure, like, vote with your wallet. If you're not happy with it, don't buy it. Wait, right? Don't buy it. But you have bought them, so, like, I get that you feel disrespected to a point. That, I think, is a very heartfelt perspective, and I do appreciate your thoughts on that. It's just that I don't necessarily feel like they're going out of their way to disrespect us now. If anything, that they might actually be trying to listen and actually try to improve that perspective. But
they never listen, Ben. They never listened, Ben. They're listening now. That's my point. They never listened previously. They're listening now. So I understand where you're coming from with your Big Mac analogy, but it's the same as a cornered rat. You corner a rat, it's gonna attack, right?
John,
so
no rat talk.
Okay, but you know what I mean. You corner a what do you call them? A rodent. They're gonna attack. So
yeah.
A mouse.
But also, Ben, if Big Macs for $400, you bet your fucking ass I'd be down.
100%. But I'm just saying but we're not talking about the quality or the toy even itself at this point. We're talking about the business, right? And I'm just saying that anytime business is on the line, a company is going to.
Yeah, but how are you as a consumer okay with putting your head on a pillow saying, well, now the business on the line, now they're going to look at me and give me attention when they didn't do it from day one?
Sometimes I'm not. I don't look at these as something that I need to have. It's something that I want to have. That's all.
I personally look at this community and was given the opportunity, thank you to Zach and Dean graciously, I appreciate it, given a voice. And I feel like the voices I'm hearing out there, I just want to, it's not that I want to counteract them, but I just want to be a little tidbit of maybe a voice of reason or another perspective that maybe may help a collector when making a decision on a collectible.
Yeah, it's like when I talk about how much I hate The Dark Knight. I know I'm a minority, but
then you rally like Bane, and then you like the Batman. Hot Toys has released something like 500 MMS around there.
More.
You know, quite a significant number. And I think, generally speaking, most of those are pretty decent. There's been times where they've really fucked up, and they've addressed it, you know. Unfortunately, like, 100% agree that with the Tony Stank portrait, like, that should have never gone to market the way it did. They should have communicated that much more clearly. And I will agree with you. Obviously, we talked about it earlier. Sideshow in North America, at least in the United States, I assume they're the distributor for Canada, they should have been more vocal in getting the exchange process going, because it was only like 2 emails, and most people that order it never saw those emails. But when Deadpool came out and people were ripping the suit with the wrist, Hot Toys was quick to address that. And there's been times throughout those 600 figures that they've made adjustments. I think it's much, 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 much more likely to happen now that Queen is doing this. And I'll leave it at that, because we're going to talk about Queen next. So the Gandalf figure, they've put up some different videos, and they've John, the marketing director from Queen Studios, has done an interview this week with Anthony from Six Scale Mafia. And also he responded to some of my messages to him, and we're working on getting him on a stream to really kind of nail down these questions. I had nothing against Anthony's stream, but I think it would be great to get me and Mark with John and really, you know, hammer this down with like crazy Lord of the Rings fans that really expect this like perfect figure. Because like during the stream, they weren't 100% sure of some of the things that we were mentioning in the comments. So with that being said, in the messaging with John, the sword at present, they said that they're going to add the engraving on the hilt on Glamdring. That was something that I noticed was missing from the prototype. They said they are going to add that to the final piece. The pants at present do not have the flower print on the pants, which is kind of, I've been kind of struggling if I want to make another video like I did of the staff video, because I've tried to look for it in the film, and it's very hard to see if those pants have the print on screen. But the people that made the costume have said that it is there, and there's like sketches of what that looks like, and obviously all the Asmus and Sideshow figures up to this point have had it, so it is there. And it kind of begs the question of, if it's there on the prop, does it need to be there on the figure? If it wasn't really seen front and center, and in my mind, I think it should be. They did say in the interview with Anthony that only one staff was approved, and that the staff that they have is accurate. And I pushed, I told John that they need to push back on the licensor, and I made a video showing the 2 different staffs that are clearly, like, it's not even a question, they're clearly different staffs, and that they need to revisit this, that they should revisit it rather, because every company that's making a licensed Gandalf, statue-wise, Infinity Studios, Prime 1, the 2 Asmus, the old Sideshow statues, the Weta statues, they all have that proper staff, and it's bonkers to me that, you know, they were just approved for just the one. They also said, they released a video of hair futzing, but they also said on that stream that when you, and I said this last week and the week before, but that when you open this figure, it's not going to look like the way they have it. There's just no way. You're going to have to futz this, because the futzing process, the hair is very delicate. They have to put a product on there, and they have to protect it during shipment, you know, from Hong Kong to the United States to you. It has to be protected. So when you open that thing, there is going to be some product and some amount of styling, and they've said that is accurate. So for those people that were looking just to open it and just plop it on the base and be good to go, there will be a amount of futzing that you will need to do. I know Nicolio said is who's going to pose their Gandalf giving a curtsy to see those ankles, though. I agree with you, but the thing is, on a figure that you're able to pose, in any number of scenes, those pant legs are going to show up. You are going to see them 100%. In most of their pre-order photos that Queen had put up, they were basically neutral poses, but if you're going to put them in any sort of pose, you are going to 100% see those. And Beskar Kid says, yes, you couldn't see the straps on the back of Vader's shin guards, but they're on the Hot Toys figure just like the costume. So if that's the case, I do expect them to be there personally. That's the updates that we got from Queen privately and then in the stream with Anthony. Like I said, I do want to, and I've asked John, he's kind of getting a schedule together to see when we can kind of nail down some of these questions, and I'm hoping we can kind of push for some genuine answers on this. We did also get a super chat from Dalmathon. He says, "This is why I watch every week. Difference of opinion with passion." Anyone have anything to comment on any of those updates about the
I'd like to say, Queen needs to smarten up too now, right? So they have an opportunity here. They're shaking the market. They need to wake up and smarten up. John's a great guy. I like what they're
100%.
doing. Amazing guy. What he does with the community, amazing. To take all the time to go on all these streams. But I'm sick of hearing I need to take it back to Viper. I need to take it back to Viper. And I understand it's not him. It's not anything. But I think that if you really want to start a movement, right? You really want to start a movement and show your customer service and that you want to be involved in the community, I think you should select streams, stream yourself. I don't care what but you should get Viper with a translator and have the conversation right there. And maybe that's a lot to ask for, but I think if you're coming in as a new company and you kind of, a lot of people doubting you out there, and you want to prove yourself and you want to stand out, let's get, instead of getting the same conversations over and over again, let's get the head guy or head representation that can answer the questions. I understand there's a language barrier. Well, this is 2022. We could get a Google Translate. We can get a translator easily. Doesn't even have to be live. We can do a pre-recorded video with appropriate questions and answers. Respectful, and that's how you do it. Nothing against John, because I appreciate what they're doing. At least they're coming out. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation where he comes out, people bitch him out, oh, that's the right answer, this and that. But then if they go and pull a Hot Toys and where they don't come out, then they're getting bitched out the same way. So I appreciate what they're doing.
John, Viper did the video with the Joker though, right? So like we have heard of him from him directly, right? So what you're proposing, we've
even
seen
better
a little
point.
bit of.
I didn't even remember that. Yeah, even better point. He can do. Trust me, he can do. If you put a man when there's a way. It's just on how much are you willing to put yourself out there and to to be put on the spot and be able to answer those questions.
Yeah. I completely agree, because it's easy to say like, well, I'll have to go back to Viper. But the thing, and this is nothing against John, because I understand how this company works.
Yeah.
It's easy to hide behind that, but then there's times like with the window thing. We never really got a response from that when the answer was, well, I'm going to go to the team and see what they say. It's been, what, John, like 3-4 weeks? We never heard back about that. So
well, it's not only that. It's, where's my statement? Exactly.
Yeah, I think in my opinion, the thing that I think would be best for us to do, if it's possible, like you said, we'll get Viper, but I think we need to have very clear and concise questions submitted in advance, and we need to have John answer these questions live, so that there's no, I'm going to go to Viper.
Correct.
I want the answers
exactly
there.
Or that works as well if he's camera shy, of course.
Yeah, I think because the thing is, John, this release, the window closes in something like 15, 16, 17 days, and collectors need to be informed. And I don't know if that's the Queen set the window, but everywhere I've seen is about June 14th, 15th. Collectors need to be informed of when, by the time the pre-order closes, what exactly they can expect. That's kind of where I'm at with this.
I just want
on screen I have the photo of the pants here. So this is the print that's missing. This is on all the different Gandalf statues and figures and stuff like that, where you can see the pants.
I'm sorry. I just a couple more things to say. I know I'm getting way too passionate. It's just I don't want to say I'm emotional about this stuff. It's just I've collected like my entire life, and this is like my thing, and I get really passionate. So I'm sorry if I'm going on rants and this and that, but so that was one point. The other point was well, this one here, Scott, I love you, but damn, hear this all the time. $500, it should be 100% accurate, bro. You're paying $400 for that Doctor Strange, or for example, that Scarlet Witch, $350, $330. You can't even bend the arms because you're gonna be scared that the suit's gonna rip. Like, come on, if you're gonna fight one end, you gotta fight the other. But regardless, Queen screwed up. Queen screwed up with that promotional video. End of story. Where they showed the staff, the Moria staff. It wasn't that staff. It was the staff they gave us.
Yeah,
but they put the crystal. They put the that
Crazy.
they know then. There's no justification because even if they gave us a crystal to put on this staff, okay,
It's not
they
the right staff.
they can play stupid and be like, oh, we didn't know. Here they gave us the one staff, and on top of it all, they photoshopped the crystal for that scene. It's like, hello, you know, you can't do that. You can't do that. You to give the crystal, that would have been a half-ass move, but at least you would have had the crystal. But they need to make. I think this decision here with the staff is what will. This decision here with the staff is what will set them apart. If they go ahead and if they fix this, this will set them apart.
Now, Cuervo says, so demanding answers now. The thing is, though, if this company, like if this was Hot Toys and we had, 17 months to pre-order, that's one thing, right? But when you're telling me I have, in some case, 3 days with the Joker or 20 days with the Gandalf, I mean, you do need those answers now because you're losing
That's a
$70
great
to
distinction,
cancel.
Zach.
You're losing $70 minimum, or you might be out of pocket $500 and it shows up at your door and it's missing a staff and has, just generic gray pants. So it's to me, it very much is because, like I said, there's a lot of streamers out there, and I love all the people that stream in our community. But for this figure in particular, I think our channel has some of the most experienced Lord of the Rings collectors. Mark Pearson, one of the best Lord of the Rings guys I know. I learned everything from Lord of the Rings for the most part from him. I think that we're in a position that we can have this discussion intelligibly and really show that these things need to be added or changed. So yes, frankly, we do need answers because the way that these pre-orders are staggered, like it's just you either pre-order it now or you're stuck paying 4 or 5 times retail like I did with the Razor Crest.
And it's not only that. If you're going to come out and market yourself that you're answering questions, answer the damn questions. Or else don't market yourself to pretend you're out doing Hot Toys and then not give us the answers, right?
Exactly.
You can show face on a camera is easy. You got to actually, show that you give a rat's ass.
Yeah, 100%.
Sorry for saying rat.
John is landing blows. Give it to the company's left, right, jab, body shot, KO. I tip my hat. And yeah, that's the thing that I got on the video that I did, that they said that it seemed like the people in Queen hadn't seen the film. And what bothers me, and this is a question I want to ask John as well, hopefully we get him on, is I'm curious how much research that they really do for these figures. The Joker, I think, I don't really have the eye for the Joker, so I don't know if there's things that were clearly missing from that figure. But for Gandalf, like, I would think, me personally, and maybe this isn't the way other companies work, but if I'm making a 1/6 scale Gandalf, I'm going to go out there and buy every 1/6 scale Gandalf on the market, see how those figures work, see what they're doing, see what can be improved on, and then use that as the basis for when I make mine. Because just doing that, they would have caught, literally the 3 things that are missing from this figure if they had just bought one Crown Series Gandalf. Now it seems like they're right up against the start of production and maybe already locked in with the licensor, and they're missing potentially a ton of stuff. But even that, there's tons of references. Just a 2-minute Google search, you can find this website. It's very small website, but this person had hands-on experience with the physical prop costume, the hero costume, if you will, and they have very well documented pleats and just tremendous photos. They have a hand-drawn sketch of this flower print that we see here with the spacing, the markings, the dimensions, the color. I mean, it's replica prop forum quality research that this person did that would have saved them a bunch of headache if they had just referenced that, and that you could find that with a 2-minute Google search. So I just have to wonder, what level of research was done on this, because with the Joker, I don't know if the props are easier to access, or the movie just has more shots of everything that you need. Whereas this, a lot of the outfit's hidden by layers of fabric. But it just seems like, this is, if you're sculpting a butterfly and you're telling me you can't go through the work to check that there's 2 staffs in the film, it's just kind of wild to me.
Well, I have to wonder too. I mean, John, you could probably answer this. Because they're typically a statue company, do statue collectors typically look at this level of detail? Because I hear accuracy and all this stuff from 1/6 collectors a ton, and maybe I just don't listen to enough statue specific streams. But is it this level of detail that people are looking for as well in the statues, or is it more big grandiose pieces type deal? I'm not sure.
I'll be honest, the statue community, the 1/6 community, it's like savages compared to the statue community, to be honest. And I'm in both, so it's like Jekyll and Hyde, right? That's how I am. But they'll go into the detail through companies. But
isn't that why we collect scale and statues? The accuracy, the screen,
100%.
The closer to the screen you could get, like that's why I'm paying top dollar. It
no.
needs to look like it just ripped from the screen.
Yeah, no, and 100%. And it was more a point of, I wonder, since they've been doing statues and this is their first forte, or I guess second forte into 6 scale, maybe they're not used to looking for this stuff. I 100% agree that it should be there, and I'm just trying to maybe formulate a reason like why maybe they, got hit this hard with this one, because it's pretty glaring, the stuff that they left off. I mean, whole ass staff is like, it's not. I could understand the stuff on the pants because it's robes. Okay, sure, but like a whole ass staff is like another thing.
USB, part of me wonders, like with this character, like it's organic. It's not like in the film he's using a Glock. Like you could look up a billion pictures of a Glock. It's basically 2 wooden sticks, right? And there's just subtle differences between the sticks. It's much harder than going to the film armory and saying, okay, he had this gun, this gun, this gun. We can easily, make those.
I was gonna say,
it's lazy.
How many different Glocks there are, bro?
Well, I mean,
here we
again,
go.
very well documented.
Glock 19,
Glock 43. Yeah, Jesus Christ. We'll be here for Glock Weekly next week.
But like you say, Zach, if you're coming into this market, do your research, man. You have to.
Or, God damn it, Dean.
I'm sorry.
Do your homework.
I don't know.
You have
Especially if it's your second figure, right, John? They don't really have a big body of work with the 1/6 community yet to fall back on.
Exactly. And Marco, Zach's passionate. I'm passionate about Batman. We're gonna dissect it from top to bottom. So, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, and we're not the only ones. I mean, just go to the comment section. There's other people that are asking the same questions. We're not the outliers here.
No.
I think it's important to, especially this early into their career of 1/6, to really nail this kind of stuff, especially at the price points that we're talking about. I mean, those are glaring
inaccuracies.
Yeah. So
if I could just say one more thing, and then if anyone else wants to take on this, Punisher says it's $500 because the hair is made of wool and it's rooted. What do you expect? First off, the rooting process 100% is a big part of the cost. I'm not disagree there, but wool is extremely cheap. Punisher. I don't know if I've rooted figure hair with premium Tibetan lamb wool. You could get for like $10 enough hair to root probably like 3 figures. It is not that expensive.
How long did it take you to root it?
Okay, so I've never rooted anything. So, and I will say, not only have I not rooted anything, I will say I probably didn't root it anywhere near as good as the Asimus Gandalf. It took me, on the attempt that I left it at, probably about 2-3 hours.
Okay.
But again, I didn't put as much hair as the Queen Gandalf has, and I also didn't do the beard because the Asmus has that sculpted beard. So I think what Asmus said, they did a comment that I think it takes a worker like a day to do one or two, like a full 8-hour day, and that seems appropriate. That seems
I was
very
gonna
accurate.
say for someone who doesn't know what they're doing, Zach, to be able to attempt it, spend a few hours on it, realize maybe it's a little more than I could chew. 3 hours, not that bad. You're talking about somebody who does it for a living and a team of people doing it, because it's not just one guy. We already know that. It's a team of people. Yeah, it's not like it takes a fucking fortnight to get it done, you know?
One thing also, he says if it's so cheap, then why does Hot Toys not do it? Because the Tibetan lamb fur, it's that shaggy hair, and I assume you could probably straighten it, but for a character like Black Widow, I think it's probably just easier to get the it's like a vinyl, nylon type hair. With a character like this, where it would be very difficult to make the nylon have these natural waves in it, it's much easier to just get the wool. And that's why the Joker actually may have that wool too, because his hair is very shaggy in the.
Well, I was
they
gonna
may have
say,
dyed it though.
Also, on someone like Gandalf, who's got super long hair, look what they had to do just now with the Scarlet Witch. She's got 2 different hair sculpts. One where it's behind her, so she could, you know, kind of look around and articulate, and one where she's just standing there. Whereas, you know, when it's rooted, he could look in any direction and it's going to be natural.
Not only that, but in the film, you know, we're all kind of used to that Gandalf with, you know, like this, but in certain parts of the film, the hair, you know, when he's fighting the Balrog, it kind of goes on his face, and you can replicate all those different little subtle variations, which is why I personally don't think a sculpted Gandalf would work particularly well.
So the only question I have in regards to this now is, for you guys on the panel ordering, I don't know who's going to order it, but if he doesn't, if they end up not including the staff, will you still place your pre-order?
That's a tough question. That's a really tough question. If it's like, I am very fortunate that I have that staff spare. I ordered one to do an LED mod and I just never got to it. I think that this looks so good, and you have to realize that staff really is the second staff of the film. So you can still replicate with screen accuracy, you know, minus the pants, everything up until Rivendell. So I don't know, because I typically like to display my figures, you know, scene specific stuff. Granted, the base is definitely a Moria base. So I don't know. It's really hard to tell at the moment. I think the price, honestly, I was expecting $650, $750, you know, just based on what, you know, if you get some of these guys in the community that are really good at rooting, that all they do is root hair for a living. I mean, for a figure like this, you know, a hair and a beard, I mean, you're looking $300, $400, $500 easy, just to root the portrait, right? That doesn't include the custom paint work, the portrait itself.
Accessories.
They're incredibly expensive to do that. So, I mean, I was thinking this was going to be much, much more expensive. I would probably still order it, and I wouldn't order it if this was any other character. I have a whole, literally, garage shelf full of Gandalf stuff. I think this could be the best Gandalf figure once it's released. So I don't know. And I know that's hypocritical 100%, you know, speaking with the wallet thing. I get that. I've always said I'm not the beacon of, like, you know, don't use me as the judge of character, because, you know, I'll say one thing one week and then even the same show I'll say something else. But for me, I think that they've improved on a lot of things that the Asmus didn't do well, specifically the eyes and the hat. They're missing some things. I don't know. And then also for me, I think it's also the excitement of maybe, like you, John, when you had mentioned the Joker, it's like investing in this new company and kind of, in a way, maybe securing other releases in the future. So I don't know. It's very hard to see. Very hard to see if I'll pre-order it. Anyone else have a take before we move on?
The only thing that resonates with me here is just trust for the community. I know John was, you know, feeling raw about Hot Toys earlier, and I think because we haven't had a Queen or an InArt 1/6 scale figure in hand yet, you know, the Joker is one of my favorite characters of all time. You know, he didn't come with the shotgun. He didn't come with handcuffs that were standard with the figure. But his head sculpt, his portrait, his likeness is insane. Like, if if the final quality is anywhere close to that prototype, if not better, like hopefully, I think it's going to blow us away. What would have really resonated with me, because I would say that I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, but I'm not on the same level as, you know, you, Zach, or Mark Pearson. What would have really blown me away for Queen is if you'd been able to look at this figure and go, wow, it's perfect. It's literally, it's literally got everything. That would have blown me away, because we're so used to picking apart these figures and collectibles to a point, because we've had history with Hot Toys or other companies where they're close, real close, like my Marty that's sitting beside me. I'm stoked to look at this guy, but I'm calling it an 85% likeness to the figure. Like, if this guy was exactly what guys like you and Mark Pearson were looking for, and the Joker was exactly what guys like myself and maybe Scott Bradley were looking for, I would be so amped for the future of the company, and that would solidify that trust that
Ben,
they're looking for.
You ordered the Joker, correct?
100%.
Okay.
100%, because the Joker for me is one of my favorite characters of all time. I was willing to gamble with that, but now I have to wait. Now I'm in the wait and see stage.
But that would say
you
would say you trusted them in a way, no? Because you pre-ordered.
Not at all.
No?
A gamble is not trust.
Okay.
I go into a casino and gamble my money. I don't trust that the casino is going to give me money back.
Okay.
I trust that I could win, that I could come out big. I could come out real successful on this. Or I could gamble and go sideways. But
there has to be some level of confidence there, because they showed you the head sculpt, they showed you the
reason
portrait.
that I had confidence was because Queen was still a solidified company, that they had statues, that they had successful statues for sure. That solidified my ability to have confidence. You heard me talk about that Vulture last week with that company that I'd never heard of. I'm like, I'm not going to buy that. It could look cool in the pictures, but there ain't no way. I'd never heard of them. Queen, it's a safer gamble for sure. But again, for me, if Zach and Mark had said, this is a perfect Gandalf, this is the definitive perfect Gandalf, you can't get any better than this, I would probably be feeling better about putting my trust in. But now, again, it's the trust that just makes the difference. I think that's the only point.
Ben, do you think that the staff or the shotgun, can we attribute that to them holding back just a little bit for maybe like a release or another?
I really
release?
hope not. That would be an incredibly shitty thing to do.
Because it kind of feels like that, right, Zach?
I would feel like that would erode that
honestly,
trust.
bro, it
They
really
would lose
does.
all credibility if they did that.
But it's weird though, because they give you the book, right? Like, you know, maybe you could see that if they left out like Glamdring, because he doesn't wear Glamdring until, you know, the second half of the film. But there's just too many things to me that like, I mean, like John said, they would lose all credibility, 100%.
And like, just the fact that Zach is able to say that in 2 minutes of Google research, you should be able to find the majority of the misses that were here. That makes a difference, though.
He came out and just said it's the best. He just said it's the definitive. It's a definitive Gandalf that's coming out. He just said he would pre-order it.
I said.
What did you say?
With what we have here, this is the best portrait. This is the best outfit
representation,
but it's not the most complete.
Okay, it's not the most complete, but it's enough for you to order, though. Perfection, brother.
This is like a half. It's kind of like when Hot Toys gives you
Hot Toys hasn't done one perfect figure, and you still buy
many perfect figures. I think the Loyalist Mando, probably one of the greatest figures ever made. If you look
the
at
only
that figure,
perfect figure that I think they did well was the 2-pack Boba from the Mando set.
There's been plenty of figures that they've done that are.
Uncle Fester, I like that portrait, but perfect? No, bro, not perfect.
Well, and I'm not arguing the quality of this figure, John. I think this one's amazing. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is that it's the trust. It's that if they'd done their homework, guys like Zach and Mark would have been absolutely blown away, and the community would have sold this product for them. John would have just been able to show up on camera and say, "Yep, thank you very much." But where's the research? Where's the time?
First of all, they don't even care if you buy it here, because it's not even licensed in the States.
Yeah,
so number one,
in Canada,
so technically they didn't even care. 6,000 Jokers sold. More. I think the first
2-pack.
2-pack. Just the 2-pack.
12,000. 12,000 of them things.
Come on.
John, I think they're learning though that there's 1/6 scales collectors which are already anal, and then there's 1/6 scale Lord of the Rings collectors, which is a whole nother level, right?
And they also know that a lot of us have microphones, my friend. They were kind of blown away by how many content creators there were for 6 scale.
Because the Joker we weren't dissecting to this level, right? So
well, it's weird because I'm not even a fan of the Joker, and I was like, I feel like he's missing the shotgun that he has. I said that on stream. I was like, he's missing the shotgun. That's like
they're gonna make a bank robber Joker,
probably.
and he will have the shotgun, 100%.
Probably.
Give us a nurse.
To clarify, John, I do think this is the best Gandalf we've gotten. It is far from the most complete, though, and I think if they address these 3 things here that we mentioned today, perfect figure.
I think it's utter ridiculousness to say, well, a release needs to be perfect for me to buy it. I don't. That's just me.
Yeah. Let's move on. Far from a perfect sculpt here.
Jesus Christ.
Asmus Collectibles. I was so
boy.
confident like a month ago, and then they showed this, and I was like, Jesus H. Christ, what the fuck did they do to the other portrait? Let's just blow through this quickly. Counting down the final hours of Old Bilbo's shipping date, here's a first-hand look at the final product copy of the Angry Expression from the set. I thought the first portrait was absolutely fantastic. This is, frankly, dog shit. And I know the old adage of, like, it stays in the box, you are still paying for it, etc. This is bad. They should feel bad. And, frankly, I really wish there was an option where you didn't have to pay for this as part of the release. Beskar Kit says Clone Wars Anakin, Rex, Hoth Leia, Emperor Palpatine, Cody, Bespin Leia, TRS Kylo. I would say Cody was pretty flawed.
Perfect.
The shoulders and the elbow on Cody were an absolute
Anakin rub off on the neck. Hoth Leia, the spots on the white jacket, the pink spots. Emperor Palpatine.
It was blue. It was the sewers.
Yeah, Emperor Palpatine. You can't even sit on the throne. P.S. I own all of them, so I'm not saying I'm
speaking truth.
I'm speaking truth.
He knows.
I own all of them.
The Emperor.
So.
I remember the Emperor. They were like, "Yeah, if you take a hacksaw and you cut off like a third of an inch," I'm like, "Bro, fuck that."
But this is see, Zach. This is I don't want. This is what I mean, though. The community just goes into like fucking war mode. It's not a fucking war. You got the facts from experience, and then you got this fucking mumbo jumbo that's coming out here. But that's fine. Let's keep on going. What is
Mars
this?
Toys Gus Fring. This is a double pack. It retails for $229. You're getting 2 figures at that price point. Releasing Q4 2022. Those prices are in OSK. I will be honest. I watched one episode of Breaking Bad with a friend who was a hardcore drug addict, and it scared the shit out of me how excited she was to be watching this show, and I never watched another episode again. So
Yikes.
I don't know a ton about this character. I did, though, watch this scene because this man looks like a zombie, and I was very confused as to why a zombie was in Breaking Bad. So I watched the scene. I understand what's going on here, and I really like that second pose there on the right. I know nothing else about it. I think it looks decent. About $115 a pop. What do you think, dude?
Dude, that's fucking Jack Baer. Movie of the week, sorry. Breaking Bad. The internet was obsessed with Breaking Bad. Walter White this, Walter White's so great, Walter White, Jesse Pinkman, Gus Fring is an asshole. Gus Fring was the best fucking part of that show. Walter White is a piece of shit. I hate Walter. He's one of my least favorite characters of all time.
How'd you feel about Skyler?
Oh, dude, cunt. I hate Skyler with a passion, bro. Gus was an awesome character, dude. Such a good... I don't even want to call him a villain. I mean, he was, but so was Walt. So it's kind of just like he was just a better bad guy than Walt, you know? I think they nailed it. Again, it's a prototype, right? Let's see what it actually looks like. But it comes with about what you would expect. It's not like Gus Fring is a man of action. He's very reserved in the show. People do shit for Gus. He doesn't have to get his hands dirty, so it's not like he's running around with pistols and, fucking...
But they've got the box cutter, though, so just saying, no spoilers.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he comes with the stuff you would expect him to come with. The Boyos Hermanos bucket, that's hilarious. This is a cool figure. I'm assuming it comes with 2 different shirts and jackets and obviously head sculpts. I think it's solid. Let's see if it comes out this way. But, for those Breaking Bad fans that have only had Jesse Pinkman and Walter White, I believe they're 3-0. I think there's a third party, what's his name? Not Dave. What's his name?
Saul Goodman?
No, not Saul. The one that gets killed by the river. I don't remember his name.
Let's move on.
Anyway, I think there's a third party, but the Breaking Bad shelves have been lacking for years.
Mike is his name, by the way.
Mike, thank you. Mike is a solid character. I think there's a third party Mike, so it's nice to see a third party, more third party figures. Gus, I would love to see a Hank. Hank is the fucking GOAT, bro. Arguably one of the greatest shows on television ever. So I love to see it. I don't have a Breaking Bad collection. I don't put those on my shelf. But for those who want it, I think it's great that this is coming out.
Yeah, I haven't watched anything Breaking Bad. I've seen some, like not even half an episode. I just see the Halloween costumes, the jumpsuit, the yellow signs thing, whatever. Anyways, Esposito's portrait-wise, this looks good. I've seen the commercial that they show on TV where his face is like that. I don't know what happens. I'm assuming it's some sort of acid gets thrown on him or whatever, but it looks really good. I like more I think he looks more like the character on the left, not the one that has the damage to the face. I just feel like that half of the face is not, like if you look even at the lips, you see how the lips are a little bit thicker and puckier there compared to the one on the left. It's not, I don't think it's as accurate to Esposito on the right. I could be wrong, but that's just how I see it.
Well, I think he's like more in shock. Like he looks more scared,
Yeah, okay.
So, but I guess in that scene, he's a little.
That's the thing. I'm not too familiar with it.
In that scene, something happens,
okay.
right? And he walks out, and you're like, "Oh my god, he fucking made it!" And then he walks out and he fixes his tie, and the camera pans, and you see this, and you're just like, "Holy shit!" But I think even like the eye, it kind of shows him a little more shocked,
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see where you're coming from. It's not exactly like a mirror of that head sculpt on the left.
Yeah, but at $229, look, now you got an extra portrait for your Hot Toys Moff Gideon. Mando, you can make your own story. Mando sliced him with the Darksaber.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I also did not watch the series. I started to. I got maybe 2 or 3 episodes in, and then it just started to stress me out. I don't do well with stressful shows, so I have not watched the show, nor have I watched Ozark, which my wife tells me is also a stressful show.
Good idea to pass on those, yeah.
Yeah, she loves that shit. I do not. I want my TV to be like relaxing or entertaining. I don't want to be like having to, meditate after I watch it because I'm too stressed out. So, but yeah, she loved the show. So, this is great for people that love that show and need this on their shelf. But yeah, for what it is, it looks great. I like the detail on the half skull sculpt. I think it looks cool. It's unique. So yeah, nothing I'll be getting, but grateful for those people that can, for sure.
I think this show is amazing. It's one of my favorite shows. I've watched every single episode. I think I've watched the whole entire show twice. I watched it the second time was right before the movie came out, and the movie was alright, but
El Camino.
Yeah, and I've almost gotten a Breaking Bad figure like so many times, like a handful of times, but I kind of want to get it now looking at this because, like Dean said, like there isn't a lot. So yeah, this looks really good, and it's funny that you say that Hank is the GOAT, because to me that was my least favorite character. Well, apart from Skyler.
Are you kidding me? Hank is so cool. That's heartbreaking. I love Hank.
He also didn't like the new Doctor Strange movie, so
Hank
take his opinion with a grain of salt.
All right, let's move on. Dean, Game Toys Aerith. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so they teased a full head sculpt. I think before it was like a prototype sculpt. So, I mean, this is still a prototype, but now it's actually painted, sculpted. Aerith Gainsborough from Final Fantasy VII. They already teased like a full-on Tifa figure. So this is that's what happened with the Tifa. We got a picture of the head sculpt, then a figure. So now we got the Aerith head sculpt. Just waiting for that figure to be teased, a full figure. They did tease some jackets that you could kind of, like, maybe that's Aerith. But it could also be another character, who cares? But this is cool to see. They have not put TIFF up for pre-order yet, so who knows when we'll see this go up for pre-order, but I just thought it was a nice inclusion. The Game Toys Cloud from prototype to release is basically, it was like 100%. There's no loss in quality there. So I have very high expectations for this and the Tifa, so I'm excited.
Very cool. In releases, the Hot Toys released the Marvel Comics Iron Man The Origins collection. I haven't seen the blogger photos just yet, but Toys Wonderland was saying this was now shipping. A bit of a divisive figure. I don't know that some people will be happy. I don't think the plastic is removable, and that was something a lot of people were calling for. But I actually do really like this figure. Maybe that'll change once we see it in reviews or in hand at a local comic store, but I think it's interesting enough that kind of sticks out to me. John, let's hear a quick word from our sponsors.
I was about to say, did they come out and give us a press release? No, I'm only kidding. 1/6 Corner. Their mission is to provide the best figures and collectibles to their customers. They offer great prices, great packaging, fast shipping, and best in the business customer service, guys. Collecting Weekly listeners get 10% off in-stock figures while our show is live using code capital C, capital W10. You can choose your figures, pay safely with PayPal, and you make sure you leave the rest to them.
Our topic of tonight is renewing your passion for collecting. Ben Thomas had this idea a few weeks ago, and I thought it was such a neat idea. But I'm curious, if you guys ever get in a little bit of a lull with collecting what you do. For me, usually every few months, I kind of have a new figure / collectible focus. I know it's kind of memed in the chat. And lately I've been on a Mandalorian kick. But I've also started getting into TVC stuff, which is nice because normally when I go to like different stores, I don't really I look at the TVC stuff quickly just in case there's anything that Dean might want, but I don't really ever give it too much consideration. But now that I have the Razor Crest, I'm trying to fill out my Mandalorian TVC collection, and I find excitement again going to these stores because to me it's like a whole new part of the aisle that I can start looking for stuff. And I went to a few stores, like I mentioned earlier, to try to hunt down that Boba Fett. Kind of struck out, but for me it's about changing scales, getting a few different pieces that I wouldn't normally collect, and then also rotating the collection every now and again, putting stuff in storage or getting stuff out of storage or even moving stuff along, since I am somewhat limited by space. What about you,
Dean? Yeah, there's those few key passions that I have that kind of like you said, you go back and revisit and you're just like, man, this is so like, I remember why I love this so much. And then you're just like, oh, I never got that one fucking collectible that I should have. And then you go looking and then you're like, oh, there's more. And then you just jump down a rabbit hole. And I try, especially if I got a figure coming, like I pre-ordered it. And maybe you lost a little excitement for it. It's like, I'm going to watch the movie. And then you watch the movie, you got rehyped for it. And yeah, you just renew that fucking gusto you had in your pants before. So I try and do that, like with Final Fantasy VII or Dragon Ball Z, again, Star Wars. Like the other night when I bought the Black Series Boba from the Boba Fett show, I went back and watched every episode of Boba Fett from The Mandalorian Season 2. And then I ended up just watching the rest of the show. But yeah, it's fun. And then, I mean, it's not fun spending money, but it makes you happy.
It's not fun spending money? Come on.
I mean, it is, but not when you're running out of it.
I'll keep it short and sweet. Like if I ever feel down in the community, and like I keep my stuff is everything in boxes now. But when I did have it out, I just watch fellow streamers. I'll be honest, and it always seeing people unbox different figures or a statue or seeing their setup, the way they do their lighting, that kind of reinvigorates the passion. even sometimes just going through like a Facebook Marketplace and seeing sales posts and seeing a good deal, it keeps me in the hobby. And coming on here every flipping week and talking to you guys, come on, this is like it's like lighting a flame. You love it.
Yeah, I think my thing right now is I'm #blessed that I'm actually in the process of putting up all my collectibles in cases that I've been waiting for forever, or waited for forever. So my passion with the collectibles right now is seeing them all again and unboxing them and setting them up and doing all that stuff and seeing what I actually have, since it's been so long since I've been waiting for them. So I think that, but the other thing is also collecting comics now. It's kind of like connecting, I guess, with the when I was a kid or whatever and bought this thing, then my dad later sold a garage sale, which I'm still miffed about. But just seeing what you kind of reminiscing of, like, oh, I remember I went to 7-Eleven and I got that X-Men 300 and read the shit out of the all that, and so it's just reminiscing about that sort of stuff, and especially with comics, looking to complete a line or having a goal or whatever. I think that's kind of what keeps the passion alive or renews the passion, is getting into something new or connecting with the stuff that you had before that you can finally display now. So that's my deal.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I started off with comics and then moved my way to 6-inch, then Hot Toys, and now my passion is kind of slowly but surely moving back into comics. And it's just like, yeah, it's just my full focus right now, to be honest.
Are you doing like just comics or like graded comics or anything you get your little grubby hands on?
Well, graded comics, not yet. I want my first graded comic to be something that I send in.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Once I get that going, then it's like open the floodgates, as they say. It's gonna be dangerous.
All right, I think Ben pieced out. So I'll just say it's all about how I display my figures. Like they're all like art pieces to me, right? So thinking about how I'm going to display everything, reorganizing, reshuffling the display if things are getting a little stagnant, like that's how I keep the passion alive. And like I think John said, like watching other streams, like looking at other examples of how other people have them displayed, that always sparks inspiration for me. So yeah, that's if ever I'm kind of getting sick of a figure, I'll repose him, put him in a different spot, and it's like you got a brand new figure. So that's how I keep things fresh in the collecting room.
Yeah, and for me lately, you guys kind of all echoed on a couple of my points. I think like I've been very lucky to finally have my own man cave in the basement that I can actually set up all my cool stuff and really appreciate it and in the way that I want to appreciate it and not have to apologize for it, which is cool. But I also do random things like cross-stitching. So whenever I've got a figure kind of incoming or I'm anticipating purchasing a figure, I like to pair one of my cross-stitches, like you guys might with a comic book, with your figures. I like doing that with my own pictures. I went off quickly just to kind of show you guys, like I've got the Venom slowly being paid off right now. So I've been working on this Venom cover that I've, thought was cool and it's kind of fun to work on, right? So stuff like that just connects me to my nostalgia. I think if anybody walks into my collection, they're going to know exactly where my nostalgia lies. And I've always loved all of these properties. So anytime I get a chance to have something that's tactile in my hands, whether that's a comic representation or a figure or a film or just really anything that can express that nostalgia, it helps to reinvigorate my love for it. But then also talking to you guys every week just about some of the cool stuff. Like it's fun to post in the group, what the new this week is, and and talk a little bit about it with people who care about that stuff. Because I was really excited to show Shauna my Marty McFly, and she did not care to see it. So I'm excited to talk to Marco later.
How dare you, Shauna?
Right? So that's okay, but it's the way she goes, right? So having the community of folks also really helps me keep that fresh. And then taking pictures in my little review videos that I like doing and stuff like that just gives me a reason to really deep dive into the things that I've spent my money on. So it's cool.
All right. Our next topic of discussion is Star Wars Celebration. I'm curious what you guys want to see at Star Wars Celebration. So I would love to see Bad Batch Season 2 formally announced, a release date, because I think it's still up in the air for this year, 2023. I think we all would love to see Mando Season 3 trailer, or even just a little bit of an acknowledgement that when that's happening. And then I believe Lego, I don't know if they're doing it at Celebration, used to be maybe but I think they're doing something called like LegoCon or like Star Wars Con, and they're going to show off some of the summer 2022 sets, some of the quarter 3 2022 sets, and some of these images actually leaked today. They have the Obi-Wan Starfighter, which is the first time we get a Kaminoan in minifigure form, so we got Tanwi, and then we also see the Inquisitor's starship, so we get some cool Inquisitor minifigs, and then the new Obi-Wan minifig.
Are you supposed to be showing those, or?
Oh, Jesus, guys. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. So there's the Starfighter here, the Inquisitor starship, and then the Obi-Wan's starship there. So
Kaminoan's so cute.
Yeah, so this is really exciting for me. So I'm excited to see what Lego has to bring. I'll be honest, like I don't know that Hot Toys is going to be at Celebration. Maybe
Sideshow will be there. Yeah,
Sideshow will be there. I'm not really looking forward to anything they're going to show us because it's going to be so far away. But there's been things that I've been looking at that are released already that I'm just like chomping at the bit to get. So I think my focus is on the stuff that's going to come out fairly immediately.
Yeah, as much as I have, for the most part, enjoyed the TV shows, I want them to announce a fucking movie. Preferably something in a fucking timeline we haven't seen before. But yeah, just I love all the, classic Star Wars characters and stuff, but it's time to stop shitting all over the original characters and give us something that we've never seen before. So that's what I'm hoping for. Anyway.
I'm hoping for some cool releases, some figure releases, some statue releases. I think Star Wars is just underrepresented appropriately in the statue community, so I'd like to really see some banger releases. I know when it comes to 6-scale figures, there's a lot of representation, and that's really lacking on that statue front. So that would be cool. I don't know. Fingers crossed. We'll see. Legos, some cool Legos. Those new Legos they did, the dials have been really cool. So maybe some more stuff like that. But I don't remember experiencing any other
like
Star Wars celebration. Yeah, the trash compactor and the
trench run.
Yeah, the trench run, exactly. How about the? This is almost like San Diego Comic-Con sort of thing, where the companies set up their booths, and
yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll actually be there for a few days, so I'm definitely looking forward to. I'll be there with like Eddie, Mario, a bunch of other people, so it'll be fun. I'm a few things I'm looking forward. Those Lego sets, they are doing a panel, so I'll be checking that out.
Hey, we need coverage, bro.
For sure. They have had in the past Hot Toys exclusives. Like I think it was a Jump Trooper maybe, or a Space Trooper. I forget which one it was, but they did have exclusives.
Space Trooper.
Yeah. So it'd be cool if they had that. We'll see though. But the main thing I'm looking for is new Galaxy's Edge merch. If they announce like a Qui-Gon saber or a Ben Kenobi saber, something like that to add to their sort of legacy lightsaber collection. New merch there, etc. I think that would be cool. And I'm with Dean too. A movie or new series in like the Old Republic era, or something like that. Like the High Republic, comic is obviously spec that they're getting a show. I think maybe one's even been announced, but maybe something live action in that era. Just something when the Jedi is and we're at the full power. Just something old, something new. Something from the old timeline, but something new and that not a Skywalker related thing. So I think those are what I'm most looking forward to for sure.
I agree with Dean. I hope they do announce a new movie. Hopefully they're bound to do something like Sean said with the High Republic, and the Knights of the Republic, or shit. It would be amazing if they announced like a movie with like what's his name, Revan, Darth Revan. That'd be cool, or a show maybe. But yeah, that's what I want to hear.
So I think for me, I'm kind of a mix of all of you guys for the most part. Mando has been one of my favorite Star Wars new characters of all time, or I should say has quickly become one of my favorites of all time. So I love the concept that there are stories that are just out there that are yet to be told. And I'm really excited to dive into some of those, or stories that have been told in comics or other ways that Star Wars content has come out in the past and just not been for the mainstream yet. So excited for that. But also, I've always been a big video game fan. I loved some of the original video games like Pod Racing and Rogue Squadron and some of those types. So it'd be cool to get some more, maybe some video game content at some point announced, which would be cool. I don't know if they would have that at Celebration specifically, but just Star Wars in general I'm kind of hoping for.
And to tear off of that, Ben, I really want to see more of Jedi Fallen Order 2. So I'm pretty sure that they'll show something for Celebration. I think they've already teased it, so that would be phenomenal. I want to see a trailer for the Acolyte. I think you guys were talking about High Republic era, and I don't recall if it's still in that same time frame, but it's like 100 years before Episode 1. So I think that's the show that I'm most excited for, because it's kind of distancing itself from all the other properties and not really trying to live in well-treaded ground already. And then in terms of figures, I want to see hopefully some prototypes on display for all the Obi content we got coming out. I haven't really been able to add an Obi-Wan to the collection since I've been collecting. So that'd be phenomenal. And a Vader as well. I'm waiting on those two figures. And so really would be cool to see some teases of those.
All right. Well, I'm very excited to see that content from Useby and from the other guys that are going to the show. And hopefully you guys have a good and safe celebration. Our last topic for tonight for discussion: have you ever been deceptive to get a collectible? This is also Ben's idea, and I thought it was interesting. I don't know that I've ever been outright deceptive. I don't know that I have, but usually I think the most lie that I'll tell is like if I'm at a store and I'm like, well, can you check if you have this figure? I'm like, my kid like needs it. Like that's kind of like the limit that I'll go. I think doing what we do, it's kind of probably frowned upon to be deceptive. I think that could come back at us, but that's really I think the level that I get with deception. I think there's times obviously when you're selling something or buying something, you want to get it for the best price possible. So you might have some data that supports your price, and you might leave out a crazy high sale in the mix there. But generally speaking, I try to be fairly up and up. What about you, Dean?
Man, one time I did this unknowingly, and it wasn't until after I secured the deal that Zach was like, "What's your problem?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" I really wanted a 6-scale Thanos from Infinity War. And Zach was like, yo, I believe it was some website had it for $260. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty good price. And somebody was selling it on like OSR or something. And I don't remember how much he wanted, but I sent him a message. I was like, hey man, this website has it for $260. Like, can you like beat that deal or match it? Like, and he was like, yeah, that's fine. And I think I ended up getting it like a little bit better of a deal than $260 after shipping, which is a crazy. I mean, $260 is a good price for a Thanos, so I was really happy. So I was like, hey guys, I got the figure from this guy, and I told him what Zach told me, that this place had it for $260, and Zach was like, bro, that was $260 loose with like none of the shit. And you just told this guy to sell you his like fully boxed Thanos. I felt so bad because like
it was for a part out, so like you would just get the figure and like the fists. That was it.
Yeah, no swap out arm or like the other hands or the base or the backdrop. or
think
the
they still
box.
have
It was
that.
like a loose Thanos.
I think they still have that Thanos up on. Yeah, I know what website you're talking about.
Yeah, I forget which website it is, but I felt so bad. I felt like I had lied, but I was just ignorant to what Zach was actually showing me. Yeah, I don't think I really used any deceptive practices in terms of like trying to get a figure. I mean, even like the comics, a graded comic. I'll go if maybe I think their asking price is a little high. I'll come back with evidence to support my offer, like, hey, like fair market price from this such and such website or sold listings or this much. Like, you want to make a deal? But I don't think I've ever lied outright to get a figure, or like have like tricks that I use. But that one example sticks in my head because I genuinely felt bad. I felt like I bamboozled that poor guy.
Me personally, I've never. I don't think I've ever deceived someone to get a collectible. Negotiated and try to get the price down. Yeah, most definitely. Like when we did last year, remember we did the unboxing for the
Mythos.
Yeah,
Motherfucker.
Eddie helped me with that. I remember. I went back, like, oh, you don't have the shipper? Okay, well, there's a $200 off sort of thing. That's pretty much all I've done. I've never really like deceived anyone in a sale or purchasing an item. Master negotiator though.
I know I gotta have John negotiate all my future purchases.
Yeah.
No, I've never done that. I believe in karma and stuff like that, and if I do that, something's gonna come back and bite me in the ass. The most I've done in the past is like in Target or something like that, when it's like a limit of one purchase per, whatever. I'll like buy one and then either, check out at one place and then grab the other one and check out at the front, or I'll like go put the first one out in my car and then come back in and get the other one and check out.
He's got the mustache with the glasses.
Do you hide it as well, Sean?
No, but I don't hide it. That pisses me off when people do that, so I don't do that. But if I see it, I'm just gonna buy it. I'm not gonna like come back and get it later or something like that. But that's about as far as I'll go. Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to be as straight shooter as possible with pricing or trying to get whatever, and that's as far as I'll go for sure.
Yeah, same with me. I don't think I've ever that I could think of, at least. Maybe, I don't know. I would have to think about it longer, but I don't think I've ever done something like that. Maybe like negotiated, yeah, but no.
You're so nice, Fern. People say that I'm the nice one. I think you're the nice one.
He's lying, bro. He's lied plenty of times to get shit.
Fern lied to get on the channel, let alone to get shit.
The reason I brought this question even up was because I had a situation a couple weeks ago on Facebook Marketplace where I saw this new inbox Playmates Star Trek Enterprise that I've been looking to buy. And this lady had said she found it in her attic, perfect situation, found it in her attic. It was her husband. She doesn't know the value. She put it on for $40. So I go to Shauna, hey, I'm going to buy this because that's an insane deal. It's an insane deal. Well, within the same hour, I go back on to message the person and it's been sold. So I'm like, whatever, you snooze, you lose, right? About a day goes by and I see the exact same photos of the exact same collectible on Facebook Marketplace for $140. And so whoever bought it, obviously, knew the value of it because that's kind of what they're going for, and put it back on for sale. And so I messaged the guy just to say, hey, like what the fuck? How come you're putting this on so high? Like, the lady was trying to sell it for a reasonable price. She put a good story out there that it was her husband's. And he basically said the same thing to me. Sorry, bud, you snooze, you lose. So I was like, okay, well, fair. I guess that's just the way of the world nowadays. But it irked me in a sense because it felt dishonest. Like, I was going to talk to that lady and offer her more money than she was asking because I knew that should have gone for at least $70 the way that the box condition was. And if she was money who had lost her husband that she needed, then like that's something you should do, right? So again, I'm with Sean. I think karma's a thing, and that it just irked me in the wrong ways. Having said that, I would say that for my own self, the only time I felt not dishonest, I don't think that's the right word, but more so just that not forthcoming, is that I won't always be forthcoming about how much I'm willing to spend. So whether you call that negotiation or not, like if somebody's posted something, especially if a figure's been online for a couple of weeks, I will tell them this is what I'm willing to pay, take it or leave it. And sometimes you get it and sometimes you just don't. But I will never necessarily just give them the asking price, especially if I've seen that it's been floating around Marketplace for a couple of weeks. So, but I don't think that's really deceptive. It's just, not being forthcoming.
I gotta say, I respect that guy's. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Marco.
I was gonna say I respect that guy's hustle. That was it. Just messing around.
Well, and that is hustle, right? And that's what it's like. Again, it was, I don't know, it just made me want to say something to the lady, but at the same time, she didn't know any better. She got her $40, so I guess she was happy, and this guy made a profit. What makes me happy is that Enterprise is still on Facebook Marketplace for the $140 he's posted it on, and nobody's bought it. So nobody gets it, but at least he didn't get the money for it. So that's the karma, I guess.
I used to believe in karma for many years, for my entire life. Had some fucked up shit happen a few years ago. Never again.
Zach, can I tell my story really fast?
Yes,
I'll make it super zippy. So probably the closest I've come to this is when I first started collecting. I bought a figure off of a guy on eBay. I saw that he had a few other Hot Toys on there. One was a Doctor Strange from Infinity War. He had it priced a little bit higher than I wanted to spend. So I told Gigi, I was like, hey, I'm going to throw you under the bus. I'm going to tell this guy, my wife's only approved me up to this amount. Can you work with me? So messaged the guy, and he was awesome. He's like, oh, that's cool, man. He knocked off even an additional $20 on top of what I offered him and gave me a great deal on it. And so that was like cool. It worked out, fibbed a little bit, but at the same time, Gigi was having an issue with the collecting. So it wasn't completely a lie, but yeah, it worked out and got the Strange for a good deal.
You should have been like, bro, just listen to my podcast. You know what I'm going through.
That's right.
Jesus Christ.
Did you see Gigi's comment, by the way? Just that she had said that you had told her that you were only ever going to buy one collectible figure, and then that the lie detector tested to determine that is now a lie.
That's a big fact right there.
Sorry, Zach.
Oilers Workshop says, I had a dude try and talk me down to 140 for my What If number 10 CGC 8.5. I switched it to an auction starting at 1 cent, and it sold for $242 Friday. Dude was angry at me that I sold it for more. What a dingus. What an absolute dingus. Our movie of the week was The Usual Suspects. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist, says conman Verbal Kent, drawing a comparison to the most enigmatic criminal of all time, Kaiser Soze. Kent attempts to convince the feds that the mythic crime lord not only exists, but is also responsible for drawing Kent and the rest of the usual suspects. What the hell? Cut off. Kent and his 4 partners into a multi-million-dollar heist that ended with an explosion in San Pedro Harbor, leaving few survivors. This movie is fucking awesome. It's one of the I know John reads the IMDb scores, but it's one of the top 30 movies on their rating scale. And to me, when I talked about Marco, the movie that we watched recently, the one that you picked, remind me what that was.
The Departed.
The Departed. I felt like that movie was trying to capture what this movie did perfectly. You can have one twist that is just so good that you don't need 10 twists in 5 minutes. To me, this movie was just did everything better than The Departed. And I think it's great. Kevin Spacey aside, obviously separating the recent allegations, just putting this in a bubble. This movie is just incredible. The casting is great. Benicio del Toro really stands out to me in this film. And, I think the twist is great. I watched this movie without really not knowing anything about it. Several years ago, my uncle showed it to me, and it was one of those films that he was really excited to show me, and I was like, God damn, that twist hit hard. And I was really excited to share it with you guys. So I'm curious to see what the panel says.
Zach has been trying to get me to watch this movie for, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years. The best part about this movie is the cast. They have some amazing actors in this movie. I was so bored.
Oh, I thought I was the only one. Thank you. God.
This movie
You guys don't know film.
fucking sucked.
Simpletons.
Why?
Maybe
Why?
I'll give you maybe it was a little overhyped for me because you're not the only one that's trying to get me to see this movie. Kaiser Soze, I even knew the name before I saw this movie. Like, that's why you were like, dude, you need to watch it. Like, how do you not know who Kaiser Soze is? I was like, I don't know. I just know the name. I'll give you that. Maybe it was overhyped, so my expectations were extra high. Dude, I started this movie, like, no bullshit, hand to God, like 5 times, and I kept falling asleep.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but you're just a sleepy person, though.
No,
I'll call you
bro.
a 3 and you're sleeping, bro. That's just a you thing.
No, dude.
You'd be watching
this-
Backdoor Sluts 9 and you'd be falling asleep.
Dude, I watched a full season of fucking Yellowstone in a day. Like,
That's why you were so fucking tired, bro. Your eyes needed to rest,
I
bro.
didn't.
You needed
No,
the REM.
that was not today.
Bullshit.
that
I
was
like
not
the
today.
twist in Yellowstone. You got to the end and it's a blue stone.
Fuck you.
The best thing about this movie, I guess, for Dean, it gave me this wonderful clip.
Don't give up on me now, Dean.
I will say the twist of this movie was ruined for me by what was that?
What?
What's that scary movie?
Oh, that one.
Yeah, where it showed, where Goofy is walking, or Doofy, Officer Doofy, he's walking, and then like you see his stride like straighten out.
Oh my
so
God,
like,
So that's why this movie wasn't good for you, because you would.
So when they first show him walking, I was like, wait a minute, that I've seen this before. And then as the movie progresses, I'm like, this motherfucker's Kaiser Sose. And then sure enough, at the end, you see that exact shot. I was like, okay, yeah. Just I did not like this movie. I couldn't do that. I didn't, for as great as all the actors were, I didn't care about anybody.
Yeah,
I didn't feel invested in their characters, where I was like, man, like when Benicio del Toro's character got killed, it like happens like off screen, and like all of a sudden he's just like dead, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, for someone I'm supposed to give a shit about, you kind of just glossed over this dude getting fucking murked. And it's just like, nothing seemed to carry any weight to it. I don't know. It just fell flat for me. I didn't like it.
This is got an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. The tomato meter and the audience score was 96%, coming in at about an hour and 45 minutes. You know, I'm completely opposite of what Zach said. I watched it in the morning this morning, and I was a little, not tired, but I caught myself nodding a little bit. And I don't know everything, but I kind of called that he was the guy at the end, because it was just too much. Considering he was a side character, they were just putting too much emphasis on him. He was being interrogated by the cop, and he was just too involved for me. So I liked it when they revealed that it was that other guy. What's his name? Keaton.
Yeah, Dean Keaton.
When it was Dean Keaton, I like that, and I was like, okay, wow. I'm thinking the whole movie that it's what's the other one that starts with a V? What's his name? Orville Kent. Yeah, I thought it was him the whole time. When he said it was Keaton, I'm like, oh shit, okay, now I'm into this. But then when they revealed that it was him, I'm like, okay, well, nothing surprising. Del Toro did a good job, but like Dean said, you don't get attached to any of these characters. They die. I was expecting more of like a Ocean's 11 style, where you get emotionally attached to the characters. There's a nice twist, and beautiful. For me, this didn't do it. No, this didn't do it. I'm sorry.
Y'all are wild. I'm with Zach. This movie's fucking awesome. It was, I mean, when I saw this when I was younger, just that twist, just like, yeah, it hits hard. It's just, I was not expecting that at all. especially from him, and it was just so well. You know, it was back before the internet and all this stuff that would ruin any of that for you and all that stuff. So it was definitely just like, oh shit, that's crazy. I was not expecting him at all. So, yeah, I mean, I guess watching it again the second time, knowing the twist, it was definitely a bit slow, but I think that was just a thing for the genre of the time. You know what I mean? It was. I think that's just how paced the movies were at the time. So, yeah, I still think it's a great movie. The first time you see it, for sure, that twist is crazy, and yeah, the cast is phenomenal. It's kind of interesting to to Benicio del Toro, what he's become since then. From this movie with the mumbling and all that stuff. Kevin Spacey. Well, we all know what's happened with that. And then the what's his name? The Baldwin guy, Stephen Baldwin. How he's become like this crazy, religious, right-wing guy and all this stuff. It's interesting to see how they all used to be at one time. But yeah, I love this movie, so that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. But yeah, definitely, if you haven't seen it, well, we kind of ruined it for you here. But hopefully you'll watch it one day. Forget about this podcast and watch it one day.
How dare you? They'll never forget.
Yeah, this was my first time ever watching this movie, and I knew nothing about it. And the whole entire time I thought Keaton was going to be Zodiac. But yeah, I mean, the twist didn't throw me completely off guard because I kind of had my suspicion with the other guy. But also, like what Dean said as soon as I saw the ending with him straightening out his walk, I was like, I've seen this before. Where have I seen this before? And I was like, oh yeah, Scary Movie. And I didn't know that there was that connection with Scary. Yeah, because I've never seen this movie, so I didn't know that that's what they were referencing in Scary Movie. But now I know. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know that. But I mean, the movie was alright. I don't see how it's like the top 30 of all time. It's not that good, to be honest, but it was alright. It was a good twist.
Ben may be frozen, so I guess I'll go really quick.
Sorry, I was responding to one of the chat guys. So this was the first time I've ever seen this film. I am once again happy that Zach recommended it. Just because I don't know if I ever would have actually watched it. I expected it to be more boring, but I actually did end up liking it. I can see why, especially with the movies that we're kind of used to seeing now that are so fast paced and they explain a lot for you really quickly, why this felt slow, but I thought the burn felt worth it. This movie hadn't been spoiled for me, so when we got to the end, I was like, oh shit. Fair enough. I kind of had my suspicions that he was Kaiser, mostly because every time they mentioned him, they would, like, the shots, if you rewatch the movie, because I went back and rewatched some portions of it, every time they mentioned his name, like, the camera pans at what's his name, the actor, I can't remember what his name is, Kevin Spacey. It would pan at Kevin Spacey almost every single time. So I thought that was like a subtle allusion to, like, maybe he is it, but I also agree they obviously kind of pointed the finger at Keaton. So I don't know. I thought that was a unique part of it, and thankfully I did not remember that this was in Scary Movie because I just died on mute when Dean mentioned that. Because yeah, Doofy was like, that's hilarious that's where they pulled that from. But again, I think sometimes the funniest memes out there or the funniest scenes in other parody movies are from amazing films, right? That's one of the reasons that they're so iconic. And this is definitely an iconic film, and I thought the filmmaking and the touch there was great. Because it was a slow burn, I think I would probably only necessarily rewatch this once more, just to see if I could find or pick out some of the Easter eggs or some of the alludes throughout the film. I think that's kind of the fun part of movies like this that have a twist at the end, that it gives you a chance to rewatch it and see if you can, peg the story any differently on that rewatch. But I would probably only watch it a total of 2 times and then call it. So, but yeah, no, I was happy to watch it. So,
yeah, I know they're completely different movies, but I think the twist in Scary Movie was bigger than this one, to be honest. 'Cause I
That's
like
because you're a simpleton, Fern. That's because you're a simpleton.
With this one, I was like, okay, yeah, I see that. But with Scary Movie, I was like, holy shit, I was not
I'm
expecting
so
that.
happy I was on mute when Dean mentioned that. I fucking laughed so loud.
How old were you
Oh my
when you
God.
watched Scary Movie though, Fern? You were like 9 years old.
Probably for the titties.
Yesterday.
Jesus Christ.
So I'll keep my comments short, but I will say Spacey I don't think is the only person involved with this movie that's been canceled, right? I think Bryan Singer has since been canceled. So some problematic folks involved. That being said, the screenwriter Chris McQuarrie has now been given the keys to the Mission Impossible franchise. So that's really awesome to see, that talent kind of running through. This is a classic, like from the direction to the cast and the twist. Like, it's not one of my favorite movies for sure, and it had been many years since I had seen it, but still one of the all-time classics. And so highly recommend for anyone in the chat or watching the stream that hasn't seen it before. Even having the twist kind of spoiled for you, still worth a watch, I would say.
Dean, it is your choice for movie of the week. What are we choosing?
Yeah, so last week we watched Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow, whichever name you want to go by. And I was like, bro, another great Tom Cruise movie that came out around the same time as that was Oblivion.
Yes.
I love that movie, so I'm picking Oblivion.
Nice movie.
If you haven't seen it, I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one, Dean, and I love Tom
Nice.
Cruise,
It's
honestly.
very good.
Where is
The
it
actor,
streaming
not
at?
the person.
Oh, shit. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere.
And then
Let me
Tropic
check.
Thunder the
think we
week
have-
after,
I
right?
think I have it over here. I think I checked last week.
Sean, yes, we've got to do Tropic Thunder for sure.
Dude, I watched that. Sorry, not to rain or play. I watched Tropic Thunder like last week,
It's
and
on
it just
HBO
happened to be on.
Max.
Oh my god, it's so fucking funny. Still.
Such a great movie.
HBO Max.
Roku,
HBO Max.
Hulu, Amazon.
HBO Max. Can you hear me, Jesus?
Yeah, Voodoo. Oh, no, yeah, paper.
I think it's on HBO Max, too.
Dean, I'm not sure if you saw, but it's on HBO Max.
Wait,
Bro,
I'm seeing
I
it here on HBO Max.
Hold on, wait. It says
I
right
do
here
believe-
it's on HBO Max.
There we go. Got him.
Thanks for checking, guys.
Got him. Dean, let's say thank you to the sweet angels to keep the network going.
The three pillars, as John says. Huge shout out to Sean Fear, Ian Seavey, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, Lima Hernandez. Oh, my God, he's not there. My heart.
Rip Lemur.
My heart.
F's in
Quinn
the chat.
Aguirre, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, James Colley, Equan, Chris Valencerina, Ben Thomas, Chris Letty, David Jones, Sam Gist, Daminator, Joao Bretta, Sweet Danny Lee, Deanie Martin, Stephen Krett, Big Old Fern, King Zach, Caesar Mariquin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bomusky, Rick DeGregorio, The Everyday Collector, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Erwin Azucena, The Illustrious Rainer, Alan Morgan, Tukathri Waugh, Derek B. I'm going to need to know how to say his last name because I don't like saying Derek B. I want to pay him the respect he deserves. Carlos Saavedra, Matt Clevenger, Seth Tucker, CC3PO, Scott Smith, Don Baton. Thank you for the super chat earlier. Jimmy James, Stephen Percha, Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Stephen Maria Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi, The Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer. Guys, what a bunch of angels.
Angels indeed, gifts from God even. If you want to join the Patreon, click that link there. May Patreon benefits have gone out today. The top tier ones are going to go out tomorrow. I need to meter mail them because they're in much bigger envelopes. But the benefits were the Bricks and Brews hollow sticker, and every person got one chance at a common or chase pog. I think we sent out like 11, 12, 13 of the chase pogs. So it's about a 1 in 3 chance to get a chase pog. The top tier also got the full set of the unpunched pogs. So very good stuff there. If you want to join the Patreon, we have tiers starting at $5 a month for stickers sent straight to your door and access to Ox After Dark replay. The Certified Crispy tier, which is the $15 pledge there, you get the certified crispy certificate and all the benefits of the previous tier and figure fix assistance. We also have the What a Guy tier, which is $25 a month. You get the deluxe Pog set on your first pledge and all the doubles of all the stickers we send, minus international postage for the Pog sets. Our YouTube channel members, we have Mojosie78, OG Fan, Absolute Irwin, Bema, Test Just One, Mark Pearson, DK Avenger 702, Ben Thomas, OMFG Rick, Justin Harass, S Beam, Paul Schreiber, Andres IB, Andrew Gibo, Daminator, CC3PO, Sam Gis, Lemur Hernandez, Thomas Clark, and Carlito. Membership starts at 99 cents if you're a Patreon member, or $2.99 if you are not. Click that link there if you want to subscribe to that part of their channel. As far as the network goes, we have CW Live, OFAX, Small Talk, After Dark, Bricks and Brews, The Ringcast, Live Unboxing, Collectors Club, Pose Wars, and Live and Let Dice. This week we have, I believe, Small Talk and Live and Let Dice for Thursday and Saturday. We have Club on Friday. And then tomorrow, of course, we have After Dark at 10:30. Should be a good one there. TeePublic is where you can buy some of our swag, support the network. Shirts start at $13 when they're on sale, $20 when they're not. And John, let's read the socials for me, please.
Yeah, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Collecting Weekly, and also Collecting Weekly Auxiliary. And on Instagram, we got @CollectingWeekly, @CollectingWeekly_clips, and @The Everyday Collector as well.
Fantastic. Shout out time. A little bit of a longer episode. Appreciate everyone in the chat for sticking with us for almost 3 hours. Does anyone have any shout outs they want to give?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out again to Brenton for helping me get my absolute Grail figure. Also, shout out 16 Kit. I put in an order about a month ago, and when I checked my tracking, it's a destination Japan, and sure enough, it never showed up. It's been lost, so I sent him a message. I said, hey, here's my order number. It says it's going to Japan. I don't know why. That's not my shipping address. He messaged me back very, very fast. He said, you're right. It got fucked up. It's gone. We're sending you another one. Here's your new tracking order, and it'll be sent to you right away. And so just that's good customer service. Shout him out. So I appreciate it.
Anyone else got a shout out for their channel or for anything else?
I gotta say, as I say always, the community, everyone who tuned in today, long show, passionate show. Thanks, guys, for the support and for tuning in. Always appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'll say too, shout out to everyone going to Celebration this week that I'm meeting up with, and hopefully, listeners out there will stop us and just say what's up, and we can party. There's a couple lightsaber meetups on Thursday and Friday, as well as some other stuff going on. So look out for those. And yeah, it's should be a blast. It's my first Celebration. I've heard they're fun. So definitely looking forward to it, and hopefully get to hang out with y'all folks there.
Make sure you wear your CW shirts.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah, dude. That'd be dope.
Anyone going?
I'm sure everybody probably knows it at this point, but also one last shout out for Brenton Palmer becoming one of the channel's newest show hosts officially. I caught that briefly the other night on my way home, and I was stoked for the guy. So big congratulations to him.
Yeah, I know we're going to try to get him involved with some content. We mentioned the Patreon chat today. It'd be cool to do the Brenton Palmer question of the week. He's always asking very inquisitive questions in the Patreon chat.
Well, that is a pretty good idea. Yeah.
Get him involved with that. Get some community feedback on some of the... he asks really deep questions.
He does.
What's the last figure you ever were excited for? I'm like, damn, bitch, it's fucking 12 o'clock, bro. Getting all deep in here.
Yeah, right, got my emotions in a turmoil. I'm like,
damn, bro, I haven't been excited in a long time about anything. Might be depressed.
I'm gonna hug you when I see you, bro.
A pee-pee touch?
Yeah, just one.
How dare you?
Under the pants.
Wow, touch. A good old-fashioned space dock.
Wow.
What do we got going on 16 Fix?
Yeah, so we just dropped that most recent episode of the She Said No podcast. We also did the Mark 46 unboxing, so check both of those out if you haven't already. And also go check us out on Instagram, 1_6_fix. And then we should have some cool content upcoming for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness and Obi-Wan, as well as some new episodes of the podcast. And that Battle Damaged 85 when it comes in this week. We'll do an unboxing of that. So yeah, lots of good stuff coming up. And thank you for having me. It was a fun show.
Anyone else? Not all at once? Fern, anything?
Not a damn thing.
All right. Well, I love you guys as much as I'd love to get us all in a tizzy over the ending. I think I'm just going to call it here. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.